We intend to offend. We will offend. And if you have a delicate sensibility, click the X button in the corner, or if you're on a Mac, the red button in the left corner. Monty, welcome to the show of offending people.
Well, it never happened and I make shit up. So for the last couple of weeks, everyone that has asked for a reading, apparently you're all from Scotland, from Hurley in Scotland. You all live the same lives. It's very metaphysical, because we're all one. And I can't read the Akashic Records. I didn't even have a card.
Meow, meow, meow. Fuck, what the fuck? Goddamn video didn't turn on. Welcome everyone to another adventure into comedy. If you are one of those people with a stick so far up your ass that you cannot handle people doing comedy for 2 hours, this is not the show for you. Hit the X in the right corner or the red dot in the left corner. We are serious. We intend to offend. I am joined by Montesaurus Dean Rex and Don Bruce. Welcome to the comedy show, guys.
Hola, amigos.
Hello, and straight off the bat, free Britney.
Yes, free Britney. So everyone, just imagine Bruce in a Russian Adidas tracksuit with a sombrero and a blue sash. That is Don Bruce, a character being born on the mountains in the Talamanca Mountains.
Yes, the title is there. I just need the wardrobe now.
Yeah, so we're all going to do a show where we're all going to be in tracksuits too.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean so I don't?
I'm dying to throw it on.
Yeah, we're gonna be the tracksuit mafia.
So I don't have to get changed. I just wake up and walk to the computer. Awesome.
That's right. That's right.
Straight off, another thing off the bat. I saw a headline just before this show started. Apparently, Derek Chauvin or whatever his name is being cancelled because he doesn't like Pink Floyd.
Well, shit happens.
Yeah, no. Well, sorry, it's just me being silly, and it's a comedy show. But yeah, Derek Chauvin has been sentenced 20 years for the death of George Floyd. So let's see how the riots will go. Now, I know I'm talking about a corrupt system, so let's skip all over that. The other Don Bruce.
He's good.
He's good.
Gangster,
That's
yo.
His beamer in the West.
That's a 2007 photo.
Well, that's your evil twin brother, Derek.
Raised in the attic.
Yeah, his evil twin brother is an American named Derek.
Yeah.
He's from Texas, too.
So how's the everyone dealing with the full moon? Because when I woke up and opened the back door so my cat can go outside, like, no, fuck this, I'm going back to bed. It's too cold. So at least she has the option of going outside. The moon was still up. So, yeah, the cosmic dance continues.
The cosmic dance of the moon going around. Well, it doesn't go around. Yeah, but the moon and the earth.
Yeah.
Two lesbians that have been battling it out for a while.
And the whole thing about, the dark side of the moon. Well, no, it's the far side of the moon. Because, like, when... how can it be dark?
That's where her Marianas Trench is.
Oh, hello. So a pussy looking at a moon. Cool. Just the idea of two lesbians having an eternal battle. So is the moon like Spanish or something? It's like, I'm gonna cut you and just keep circling.
They're forever in the romantic tango.
No, yeah. How does Venus feel about this? Is Venus a jilted lover or?
No. Venus is polyamorous. Okay, so she's the open relationship. But Earth and Moon, they go back to high school. They had their first experiences dancing, frolicking in the universe.
Did Mars and Earth ever go out? Because Mars looks like a broken man.
Well, technically, Mars rescued Earth from a shotgun wedding with Saturn. Shotgun wedding with Saturn. So it was a forced hillbilly wedding, and Mars comes in and rescues Earth and takes her off. But Mars does not end up marrying Earth. Yes, they boff for a while, but they didn't really, get along well.
I just like the idea of Saturn being a hillbilly. Like how the Lord Kronos. You're not from around here, are you, boy?
Saturn has a harem. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Saturn has a harem, and it was to force her to join the harem.
I thought Jupiter had, Jupiter's got, 60 moons hanging out with it, so... Yeah.
No, nobody likes Jupiter because it always has a condom.
So
Condom, but a condom.
Earth and Uranus got together for a while, but it was just a weird relationship. Yeah, it just didn't work right.
I like the Futurama joke of Uranus and Fry giggles, and then the professor says, "Oh yes, we got past that because it's a juvenile joke." And back in 2853, they changed the name to Eurectum.
Yes. Oh, this is Jupiter. It's round. So how could the Earth be flat?
Oh,
Discworld, where the plane of existence being carried on 4 elephants on the great space turtle Anu. A-N-U. Terry Pratchett was a prophet.
Anu is like Spirit Airlines. Taking you to your experience.
Yeah, now we owe them $5.
well, I don't read the news, so I can't really get this conversation going.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
You're a journalist. You're a journalism major.
Who stopped reading news? I occasionally I'll read a feature piece in the Atlantic or the New Yorker, a nice 3,000 word piece that, but headline news, I just the way the mastheads have gone now in the last 10 or 12 years, I just can't follow news anymore. It's all just ridiculous, right? There's not a balanced publication out there. They've all lost their center.
Oh yeah, I watch Crowder because it's a comedy show, but it's slowly turning into a news journalism show, and it's interesting. But they watch CNN, and it's like a yin and yang type thing, and just the stuff I've seen of CNN, it's like people get addicted to this shit where the arrogance and just Don Lemon keeps crying, and there's the fat bald guy that has a purse. It's the stuff I've seen of that, like, wow. And I think airports are turning off CNN because there's your freedom of choice gone, where you're sitting to wait to get onto a fart tube to fly 3 hours to get to Miami, and you got CNN bullshitting you all the way through in the departure lounge.
Yeah. What is it about airports and CNN? I'll never quite understand that. Even here, I don't watch bloody CNN in the airport in San Juan.
Oh, someone said in the 80s that they're a good news source, and so they've stuck with that.
Robert, have our guests joined? Any of our guests joined yet?
Let me look right now. Let's see. Don't see him.
And if you are a guest and know who you are and in the room, please announce yourself.
Doesn't look like it yet.
Okay. I do remember them saying they had work the other day.
One of them has one, yeah.
One of them has work, yes.
Mate, don't be shocked. You're talking to comedians. Hey, yes. Oh, there we go. We've got one.
Steve is here. There you go. Bring on Steve D'Amico, Robert.
Yes, Friday comedy. We have a production meeting live. Oh, did you notice Conan O'Brien has retired?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, after 11 years at TVS.
Okay, Steve, you're on.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Hey Steve, how you doing?
Doing well. Just sitting here writing a bit, listening to you guys.
What are you writing?
Just some of my set, just trying to rework some things.
You're not
Which one are you?
Are
you the stand-up comedian in Los Angeles or the Bollywood one?
I'm the stand-up in LA. The Bollywood kid's on a set today.
He's on the set today.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
doing background work. So he's trying to get into SAG. So they basically make it really difficult to get into the union now. So he has to do a lot of background and like stand-in work and basically collect like 3 vouchers, and then he gets the opportunity to pay $3,000.
Oh, isn't that
Wow.
special?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
excited because he's gonna get that opportunity this weekend. He's like, I'm pumped. I'm gonna be able to pay that $3,000 finally. Like, oh, nice. So
Well, you got to have goals in life, you know.
yeah, that's how they
It's
do it out here. They want everything unionized, and
Mhm.
I guess
Control.
there are some benefits to it. You get
Mhm.
better
And
craft
with-
services.
With the COVID restrictions starting to be lifted, Hollywood's going to be on a hiring bloodbath. They're going to hire anything with a heartbeat to try to make up all the shit they lost the last year.
Yeah, they already are. We tried to go to a pizza place after the show yesterday, and it was literally closed because they couldn't get any employees because no one wants to get off the unemployment. So like literally restaurants can't even get staff in there.
No, I'm referring to
is-
Hollywood itself is going to fix what it lost in 2020 and part of 2021 because of COVID. They're gonna hire everything and they're going to put as many productions into service as possible.
Yeah, they'll get the machine up and running again.
Yeah, I'm sure all the iffy scripts, they didn't know if they want to go into production. They're like, just let's get everything going.
No, they had a year to work on the IFTY scripts.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
true.
You have to stay home and play on your computer. Let's beef up this story so there's actually a plot. Oh, all right.
I know the protocols now that they do. He has to just to do background. They make him do a COVID test like every few days just to
Oh God.
stand on the set. So it's pretty annoying at
What
this
I
point.
find from a global perspective, what I find interesting is like in America, the pandemic's over, but the rest of the planet's going in, out of lockdown, not lockdown, in, like England's still in lockdown. We're dancing around with lockdown. Andrew, do you see the United States going into lockdown, or are you too much into freedom?
So the freedom roll is there, but no matter what, they're going to try to pull the pull the carpet from under the feet, slow it down. The South will probably never fully close back down, short of browbeating because people are dying on ventilators. We'd have to re-enter that state of fear.
Okay.
Now, with these variants that are there, they're going to try. It's just a matter of when. And I have a feeling just before summer ends and the kids got to go back to school, you're going to see the big scare on the variants because there's a lot of money going to the schools that schools don't want to give up because of COVID.
Yeah,
Okay?
but you see where I'm coming from, where
Right.
the UK still locked down, half of Europe's flipping in and out. Here in Australia, it's we're opening up. Oh, we have to lock down because we allowed the fucking virus back in. No one's making a connection of like, maybe we should just isolate and stop letting people in because the hotel quarantine system's fucked. And I mean that in a legal term, it's fucked. Like we went through 2 weeks of lockdown because someone from Adelaide flew in with the virus, and there's a cluster and there's 14 people. No deaths, just cases. Now New South Wales seems to be doing the same thing because a Victorian who apparently had COVID went through New South Wales. Oh, there's clusters and blah, blah, blah. No deaths. And it's like, why does this keep happening? Because we're run by idiots.
Yeah, run by idiots.
Yeah. So even with New Zealand as well, if you remember last year, they didn't have any COVID cases for 88 days. The entire country is isolated. And then 4 people from the same family in Auckland got COVID. And the question is, how? Because it was nearly 3 months of not being there. And because the way New Zealand is, it's quite isolated, not mentally, but physically. It's fascinating how these things happen politically. I even tweeted once. Imagine if the politicians treated COVID from a health perspective and not a political perspective.
So when you ask a person on a comedy show how, we have to push the limits. I will push the limits. My first thing is cannibals. They ate some Asians.
Yeah. What do you mean someone fucked a bat?
Yeah, exactly. All right, yours is fuck the bat. Okay, Steve, what is your push the limit?
I have no idea. Someone fucked something, and jumped up from a meat market. I'm very confused about the origins of it.
And
in
we're
general.
talking we're talking about how did it suddenly show up in Australia after 88
Oh,
days with nothing.
Fuck the kangaroo. I don't know.
But the
No, New
kangaroos,
Zealand.
yeah.
New Zealand, not Australia. Australia flew in. New Zealand, no outside source. 3 months of nothing, and then bam! Oh, we've got 4. We need to lock it down. Oh, look at us.
Fuck the kiwi.
Yeah, those kiwis are hot, yo. And I'm talking about the bird. And they're flightless birds, so they're easy to catch.
Don Bruce, what is your thing? How did it show back up in Auckland, New Zealand, out of nowhere?
I have no idea. I mean, it's a mystery. I couldn't even speculate.
Yes, you can. It's a comedy show.
It's a comedy show. Make shit up, writer.
Exactly.
All right,
Do you
let me
need
go
a pen in your hand to make it work?
Let me go draft something.
I need 3 drafts.
Yeah, no, I don't have any idea. I mean, I know we had another spike in Canada, and one of the things that they're blaming it on is the Indian variant came in, and there was a restriction on flying out of Canada to India. But what the Indian community in Toronto was doing was crossing the border at Buffalo and flying from the US to India, coming back to Buffalo and driving back across the border. And so now everybody's upset with the Sikhs in northern Toronto and Brampton because they put they're being blamed for putting the whole city back in lockdown. So I can't answer the Melbourne story, but I can answer Toronto.
New Zealand. Now,
New Zealand, yeah.
What I find interesting, someone pointed out in England they had the Brazil variant, and in Brazil they had the English variant. It's like, what is this? A fucking student exchange program? Like fucking. They met at the Falkland Islands, and it's like, okay, you go there, and I'll go there, and we'll take some bitches out, yo. I've been watching a lot of Fast and Furious, so I speak African American now.
Yeah, I'm waiting for
You speak Australian Ebonics?
What? Nah, mate. Nah. No idea what you're talking about, mate.
Yeah, bait dog bait.
Yeah, Bonza. No one says that. I love Australian language where, see if you can follow this sentence. For Chrissy, we're taking the kiddies to Brizzies and we'll give them the prezzies there.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. I just said we're taking the children at Christmas to Brisbane and give them presents.
I translated that.
Yeah,
I translated your Australian hillbilly.
Oh, careful. Robin Williams got in trouble with that. Australia's like English rednecks, like Alabama. Oh, gee, the Prime Minister didn't like that. Like, you fucking what?
Bogans.
So, Steve, tell us about the stand-up scene in LA. I mean, it must be amazing who you can meet in a green room, even if you're an opener or a middle.
Yeah, everything's opening back up here, and just from doing shows that aren't even that big, they always have usually like a celebrity drop-in slot that's available for them. So a lot of times you'll see like Bill Burr's on my show, or a pretty big name is there. You're like, oh shit, like I wasn't intending on like be on the same show as this person. So they basically do these smaller shows to work out material if they have like a special coming up or something.
Yeah.
So if you go to a show here as a being in the audience, like you have a pretty good chance of seeing a big comic, and they're not flooded and treated like a big deal here as much. So it's nice. So they're accessible and approachable. It's not like they're being like flooded with fans.
Has the comedy store open up again?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Everything's open of like since last week.
Because that's why Joe Rogan moved to Texas, and he's going to open up a comedy club down there. I'm sure he'll do well because of all his friends will just turn up, like Chappelle wants to do down there. But how long was the lockdown? Because as a comedian, you have to have that what's referred to as flying time. You have to be on stage and work to keep the comedy muscles up. And if you go 3 months, some people you forget how to do it, and like the first 3 or 4 gigs are very iffy, and then you fall back into the same routine. No
Yeah,
pun intended.
I'm like back in like the iffy stage because it's been over a year. The lockdown
Yep.
here, everything was closed down for probably, I don't know, 15 months or so, and everything's opening back up here. So it's a good opportunity to like get
Did
my
you
feet wet again.
did you start comedy, your open mic and everything? Did you start everything in LA or did you start somewhere else and move to LA?
I'm from Massachusetts, and I moved out at LA 10 years ago and did more traditional office jobs for a few years. And I was like, you know what? I can't stand this. I'm literally like depressed sitting at this cubicle. I can't do this. So I was like, fuck it. I'm just gonna pursue comedy. Then you start with open mics, then you get booked for shows and like bringer shows where they want you to bring people. And then you move your way up.
Oh man, that must be high pressure. LA comedy scene. I can only imagine, man. You got everybody there. Like anybody could drop in. Jim Carrey could drop in. Like anybody could drop in. Steve Martin could drop in. Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it's
Bill
very
Burr's pretty big.
small fish in big pond type of feeling. But I feel like if you're doing it here or New York or any other major city, you're ready to do it anywhere else. So even though it seems
Yeah.
a little bit more challenging, you
Yeah.
can kind of get down yourself like, oh, I fucking suck compared to like Bill Burr, whoever else just was on my show. You're only going to
But
get
they,
better, and it's good to have access to those types of people.
and all those big comedians have done what you've done. They've been in the trenches and they do it for 5 years. If someone forced me to move to the United States from a comedic point of view, I think I would go to New York because there's like what 1,500 fucking comedy venues in a block. There's so many rooms compared to LA's not as big, but the prestige of it is bigger. So like I'm in Australia where I'm in Melbourne and there's one dedicated comedy room. There are other pubs and clubs that open up occasionally, but there's only technically one comedy club.
Melbourne has a pretty big comedy scene, doesn't it?
Sort of. We do have the International Comedy Festival, so that there's that boost. But Australians they have they televise an edited version of the gala, which is the opening show for the whole festival. And so certain people think that the comedy festival is the 2 hours they watch on television. Then the next level is people just think that comedy in Melbourne is just during the festival. Then there's other people's like, it's October, we can actually go out because the festival's around the death of Christ in April. Allegedly death of Christ.
Yeah, I flirted with the idea of moving to New York to do it, but I somehow ended up here because I wanted a break from the East Coast oppressive weather and everything. But there's a lot of things I'm not crazy about in LA, but I like being around other creatives and other comedians.
And also you have the potentiality or possibility or however whatever P word you want to use, where you can have 6 brilliant sets and an executive producer or someone like from the Tonight Show sees you perform at that level and your career can kick up in a month.
Exactly. There's always agents and those types of people in the audience, and you don't know where it's going to go. Like, you know what, we wanted to see like a pilot from you or try this from you. So that's what I like, because you go up there and do your set and you have no idea where it's going to lead potentially. So
it's like Just for Laughs in Montreal. That's invite only. I think that however everyone wants to do that because a lot of people get shows from it. Tim Allen did that. I think Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Bill Hicks was discovered in English. People discovered Bill Hicks at Montreal and took him over there, and he was basically a rock star. And he was doing 1,000 seaters like for a month all over the United Kingdom. And then he comes back to America and plays to 50 people at Possum Patch in Illinois or some bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, this is slightly different.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely what I like about being here, because I'm not sure if my ultimate thing is like I'm going to be on the road type of comic. I'd like to take it and like go with it in another direction eventually to have a more I guess traditional schedule, so to speak. I love writing and I love creating, so I'm open to like how it manifests for me.
Yeah.
And I'm also open to where where I'd like to go. Like you said, Joe Rogan's trying to make Austin into the next comedy scene. There's already a huge music scene there, and who knows? I know a lot of big comics have moved there too. So,
Well, that's because of your lovely governor.
I know they're actually supposed to be doing something about the homeless, but we'll see. As I speak, I'm looking at my window, and it's just tents and shirtless people with their penises hanging out. Well, that's West Hollywood for you, anyways. But
Taking a dump, because the United States is the height of Western civilization, and then you go to Los Angeles where it's tent city, and you go to San Francisco and it's just an open toilet.
Exactly, like you tell people that aren't from like, oh, I live in Hollywood, and they imagine Beverly Hills, and it's like, no, there's a guy like taking a dump next to my car.
It's like from the music scene. It's like, oh, we played the Whiskey A Go Go, world famous. It holds 300 people. It's like, fuck me.
Yeah.
The Sunset Strip. It's like, they're big on the Sunset Strip. We have venues bigger than that down here.
A stand-up is so cool because it's there's an intimacy to it, right? It never really goes rock star. I mean, I think it was just what's his name there, Ford Fairlane, who played stadiums. But for most comics, the best room is like 1,500 people, like a theater converted for a comedy show or something like that. Like true story, Steve. My dad took me at the age of 12 at the National Arts Center, 1,500 seats in Ottawa, Canada, to see live George Carlin's 7 Dirty Words. So I saw George Carlin, and that was, when the tour just came out, the album wasn't even out yet, George Carlin's 7 Dirty Words. And it just blew me away. I fell in love with comedy and profanity that very night.
Well, it's like if you Steve Martin, I think he was like the first live rock star comedian. He was doing stadiums, and he because if you're making 20,000 people laugh, it comes in waves. But that's why he stopped doing stand up, because you don't have that. It's very hard to connect. Like if Led Zeppelin plays to 50,000 people, it's kind of different because the music just permeates out and it's a different experience. Yeah. But if you're Steve Martin, what's the deal with whatever? You lose that connection, or it gets muffled because of the energy. And so you want, 1,500 still a lot of people to work with. And there's a documentary on Showtime that came out last year about the Comedy Store. It's about 6 episodes. Check that out because it's fantastic, because they show at any point anyone could turn up at the Comedy Store. And just before the Oscars, where Steve Martin and Chris Rock did their opening, they tested it out at the store, and they're just reading off pages and seeing what works and everything else like that. And the stage is the size of my desk, and you could just say, like, the MC's like, what, really? Okay, people, you're in for a treat. Steve Martin, Chris Rock, and the whole room just explodes, because it's like if Robin Williams or Richard Pryor turned up. It's a comedy god in a shoebox performing.
Yeah, and the 3 rooms at the Comedy Store are not really that huge, so you're always going to get that intimate experience with these huge acts. I feel like that's where comedy is best served. You want to go see a concert at Madison Square Garden, but seeing a comedian there, it's not going to have the same effect, because when you have that many bodies in a room, I feel like the bar for laughter, it's so generalized and low. The comic could fart into the mic and everyone's going to laugh. You watch those big specials from like Madison Square Garden, and you're just getting that reverb, like massive amount of laugh for everything they do. You want to have more of this is a special occasion and connection type of thing.
Yeah. So do you remember that one where Bill Burr went out to an audience? I think it was in Philadelphia, and they were heckling him, and he went out. It went into them.
I heard of it. I haven't seen it.
He just did that like 2 weeks ago at a place in Hollywood too. He flipped out because someone had their phone out, and he just ended his set. He was headlining, and he ended his set in like 7 minutes.
Wow.
Why did he flip out in Philly?
Well, no, they were being mean. Philly is known for its audiences to yell back and spit back attitude. It's kind of just known that over the last many decades. So he had somebody that was setting him up. The guy was bombing. but the audience started booing him, yelling at him, throwing popcorn at him, stuff like that. Nothing dangerous. But he came on stage and started nailing the audience, Phil, how bad Philly was. And they just got more vocal, and he just got better and better and better.
Yeah.
I have seen footage of Seinfeld where I think he says a joke and it didn't connect for whatever reason. Seinfeld's pretty good at what he does, and he didn't really have a go at the audience, but he explains comedy, what his job is in 5 minutes. See, now, yeah, we need instant reaction. I have to write this stuff and I have to show it to you straight away. And he just breaks it down. It's like, this is the best 5 minutes I've ever just explaining the idea of comedy. And he had the crowd on side because they were he was doing it in a funny way, obviously, and they were laughing. But he just breaks it down of why it's so fucking hard, where you can rehearse for three months, in front of the mirror, and you write a joke and it's like, that works and I've done that, blah, blah, blah. And then you get up there and because the comic before you did 5 minutes on socks and you're talking about the financial system and the Federal Reserve and, there's stupidity and intelligence at the same thing. And they just don't get it. And the whole crowd, for whatever reason, it's no one's fault, but the crowd just instantly think, oh, well, he's not that good. And it's like, oh.
And also, if anything happens, like if there's a noise or someone's drink spills or something during your set, you have to acknowledge it or you lose the respect of the audience. It's the only art form where it's like you have to adapt and like morph or you're going to lose the respect. You're like, it's the perfect medium for someone who just like needs that approval and acceptance. That's what makes a good comedian, because if you're not just giving them everything what they want, like their respect will just be taken away. When I first started, I'd stand up, there would be like something like a helicopter goes over and I wasn't nuanced enough to like end my set to do that. But now you basically have to, or they're like, oh, fuck this guy.
Yeah, I remember seeing him in Melbourne. He's referred to as the godfather of stand-up Melbourne comedy because he was just that good. I've never seen him bomb at all. Called Dave Grant. He passed away about 10 years ago, I think. Wow, it's been 10 years. And so comedians here now, what would Dave Grant do? Like he would actually turn up to a venue to do a gig. And if it wasn't set up for comedy, he would close the doors, keep the audience out and set it up at like the stage, the lighting, and make it for comedy. And he would help everyone and he would check the time, make sure everyone's running on time, everything's like that. He's doing his show. And so we have pot glasses, which is a glass about that big, what 6 inches high, just for beer. In Victoria, we call them pots, different names across the whole country. But someone drops a glass and there's this sound. And in a nanosecond, Dave's halfway through, he just finished a sentence, there's a crash. In a nanosecond, he goes, that's a big contact lens, and continues on with his material. Gets a big laugh, but this one woman right in front of him didn't stop laughing for 7 minutes. Because it's just, that's pure comedy where it's a surprise. It was, and also the way he performed it. But it was funny to watch because this woman just had a laughing fit where for 7 minutes just couldn't stop laughing. At the same thing, the power of a comedian is when you make someone spit their drink out their nose, you're on to a good thing there.
Right. Obviously, that woman was pretty impressed with his speed and his wit to do that.
Yeah, because it's like talking like this, smash. Oh, that's a big contact lens. So anyway, like,
so another comedian, Gabriel Iglesias, had a similar story where he's relating the story of something that actually happened at a previous show, where this Asian lady had been given a ticket to go see a comedian, and she thought she was going to go see like a vaudeville kind of thing. She hadn't been to a comedy show since she was back in her Asian days, and she's in her late 60s. So she comes in and she starts hearing Fluffy do the cake jokes and all his original stuff, and she starts laughing and passes out. And he gets all worried and he goes and checks on her. And there's a really powerful line in there where you made an old woman laugh so hard, better than orgasm. Okay? Because she had entered that laughing fit stage where whatever was going on, whatever negative energies were being beaten in her, whatever it was, it needed a blink reset.
Yeah, I actually made someone nearly hyperventilate. Basically, there's I was relaying a joke. Bruce, I don't know, Bruce, are you familiar? There was a trio from Canada. They're called the Three Canadians. A lot of thought went into that, but
No.
no. But I think they were bigger outside of Canada because like the Three Canadians are like, who the hell are these guys? But in one of their shows, they actually had the French Canadian, and their French accent when they say certain words, it sounds kind of funny. And it's like, would you like a drink? Yes, I would like a cock, and some ass. Cock and ass, please. Give me some cock and ass. And so for 5 minutes, I'm just doing versions of that. Cock, I want a cock with some ass, okay? Now, I love it when the cock gets into the ass, it's just really special. This poor girl's like, couldn't breathe from laughter, and I'm having too much fun now because for the rest of the show, I'm just going to try. Was it cock and ass? Yes, there you go. Yeah. It was Eric on the left there. He was the French Canadian. So yeah, they knew what they were doing. But yeah, the power of comedy is like, I'll make you laugh where you pass out.
Nice.
Now think of a second the energetics of what's going on in the body when it's reaching that stage. It's the most highest form of high frequency energy pulsating through the body faster than the body can handle.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right on that edge where the chemical energy of the body the energy is going to exceed the chemical capacity of the body and enter that full light body mode. And
it starts from the psychological makeup, because usually comedians talk about stuff that normal people would not talk about with issues, and it's done in a funny way. So you break through that, and so there's this massive release. There's a whole psychological element to stand up where there's a reason that stand-ups are needed, is to break, like this, we try with this show to break up the energy and have a release. And a lot of people after a show, they've laughed out and they feel so much lighter and feel better, because all the stuff they have no idea how to, like, all the news and blah blah blah, and you just have the comedian pointing out going, well, that's fucked, blah 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 blah, and it's funny, so they laugh it out. And so I mean, it's shamanistic, isn't it, Andrew? Like, I know I've asked you before. Yeah, are they the laughing shamans? I'm fascinated with that. It's like
the Heyoka.
Yeah. I would like to have a spiritual experience. Nothing up my sleeve. It's like, what are you doing?
No, it doesn't work that way. They're there to get under people's skins and to get serious natures out of people. Yeah. So imagine a serious spiritual Karen infecting a group, doing too much. The Heyoka will target the serious spiritual Karen and make her life a living hell until she lets down. That is a real Heyoka. It's not just insults and butts of jokes. It's their main purpose is to target the people whose serious stick is so advanced that they're now targeting you because you're affecting the rest of the group with your seriousness. You're not creating the flow of the spiritual energy that is the openness of these types of experiences.
Yeah, dude, you're blocking. Yeah.
Yes. You're cock blocking the whole group. Come on, Karen.
Okay. A Californian comedy shaman, dude. Seriously, you're R as fuck, man.
Yeah. One of the best lines came out of the movie Swordfish, where what's his name? The guy that played Hugh Jackman. Playing golf. Yeah, playing golf. You're fucking up my chi. Yeah.
And that delivery of it's like, no, so you're missing. You're fucking up my chi.
You're fucking up my chi, exactly.
I didn't mind that.
I've been successfully able to use "you're fucking up my chi" in like perfect moments at least 3 times. But the thing is, if the person doesn't get the movie quote, they're really insulted.
Yeah. It could be used as a saving line while on stage, where there's one heckler is like, dude, you're fucking up my chi. Yeah. I've seen I was at a comedy show. The comedian was Rod Contock, Australian comedy legend. He did we had like a mattress bed company called Captain Snooze, and he would like the face of it, and he would always do the Captain Snooze ads. and this one drunk would just kept trying to insult and just call the Captain Snooze or whatever. And we only saw about 3 minutes of Rod's act. The next 15 minutes was him ripping this guy apart, just pointing out how he's ruining everything. And because like Rod got off the stage and went up to where the table and stood right in front of him, explaining why he was completely fucked in the head.
Wow, he took it, tore a person apart. Yeah.
Yeah, because after years of look, Captain Snooze, like I actually have something to say.
Steve, are you sticking just to stand up, or are you doing any sketch work out there in LA?
I do a little bit of everything. I am a joke punch up writer on scripts. I make my own sketches. I do YouTube videos. I have different types of videos on Instagram. I have a bunch of like one-liners on Twitter, podcasts, and just anything that'll stick to the wall. I feel like that's what it is nowadays. Whatever gets your foot in the door, then you can start like, okay, now I'm going to do like my stand-up special and this and that. You just got to find whatever's going to get you in. So I'm trying not to be married to like one idea of how this is going to happen. I basically play, I'm not really an actor, but in these sketches, I'll play exaggerated versions of myself. I'm not really interested in like doing theater or like going out for acting roles. That's more of what my roommate does. But I basically write my own sketches and just throw them out there so I can gain an audience for other things.
Nice.
Yeah. Yes. Stand up is one facet of the machine. Like during the quarantine, there really wasn't an opportunity to perform here. They had like Zoom comedy shows, which is it's kind of odd. Like I feel like you need
it's very odd. Yeah.
It's very odd, and a lot of comedians are concerned with like joke theft and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I kind of avoided doing that, and then I started doing TikToks and started catering to 14-year-olds. That's what I did. I made a lot of videos and those kind of things because it's basically all you could do at that point was online content.
Yeah, and you also have the phenomenon of the drive-in comedy show. And there's a car dealership near me, so I'm going to practice my routines in front of all those cars because it's just everyone's sitting in their cars, and instead of laughing, they're honking, and it's like, well, yeah, some comedians do it, some of them don't, because it is basically it's like a Biden rally, basically.
I know those rallies were so bizarre to watch. I was like,
I saw the one time he had the biggest auto cue known to man. There's a Weird Al Yankovic did an original song called Frank's 2000-inch TV, where like everyone in the neighborhood would watch it because it's so fucking big, and it's like you're watching Biden try and get through a sentence, and then they had a shot of the crowd, and you could see it's like 8 feet long, this massive, huge auto cue. I'm like, yeah, that's what you need for the leader of the free world.
It's like, isn't this a carbon monoxide hazard? Like, why are we doing this? It was the strangest rise to office I've ever seen, even stranger than Trump, because at least like Trump was like being a human being interacting with humans. This was like this weird alternate reality of a presidential.
What do you mean rise? He was gifted it as he was gifted that job.
Right.
Well,
but
he's a career politician. It's like someone pointed out, Joe Biden says he wants to fix government. It's like, you've been in government for 47 years. What, you're going to start working now?
They're finally getting it right.
At least Trump spoke to people, whereas Biden was speaking to cars. You know, it seemed more of a human thing.
We haven't seen his A material yet, Monty.
I don't know.
He's been holding out for a better deal.
Who knows? Yeah, I like freaking people out. You talk about Biden for like 5-10 minutes, and then you point out, he's only been in office for 6 months, and you can just see the blood drain from people's like, it's that short. It feels like forever, like, because he's so boring. Like, did you hear what Biden said? Well, I tried to, but I got to the third sentence and I passed out because I was tired. Sure.
I mean, who the hell could follow up Trump and not be boring?
Yeah.
Come on. That's a hard follow up.
No. Well, I'd rather Bernie Sanders than Joe Biden. Like, Bernie you get back to a normal level of politician. You are correct. There is that bombastic New York billionaire ego where it's like pizzazz. But we've gone that whole elastic band thing where it's like this old man needs help getting up a step.
I get that, but
Yeah.
that is the old guard revealing the old guard's in charge. That's why that old guard won or was given the seat of authority.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
but yeah, it's very hard to follow. Yeah, it's basically like it's like Steve following Bill Burr. It's like fucking thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
How am I supposed to follow that?
How am I supposed to follow that?
That's happened to me to some extent. Not as big as Bill Burr, but Whitney Cummings. That's happened where it's like she gets put in right before me. It's like, oh great, the crowd is like salivating for A-list, and now they're getting me.
Yeah, it's like bang, bang, bang. Yeah, hi, I'm here to talk about socks. Because I know when you follow someone like it's more of a confidence level because it could be a material, but you're just seeing someone destroy. Also, for those listening, we're going to be using like killed, murdered, destroy, and bomb.
So
these are all industry words. We don't actually mean we're going to kill, murder, bomb.
where does the language of comedy come from? I killed. Why kill?
I think it's because you take ownership over people's emotions. Like Andrew was saying, when you're making someone laugh that hard, it's almost like you're in control of their energy in a way. And I guess that's the origin of like I'm killing it. Like I've basically I've taken their energy as my own for that.
And it sort of comes from the music industry as well. Oh, I saw Lamb of God play, and they destroyed the place. They didn't physically destroy the place. They were that good. They just made everyone enjoy it. But it's just because in a way it does feel like a battle. Obviously, you don't go in with that mindset because the audience has to like you. If you hate the audience, but even with Sam Kinison, there was still an element of love there, even with him yelling and everything else like that. There's even Bill Hicks and the shock comics. There's an element of a justification for a validation and everything else like that. If you're just really pissed off, and I know I've done a couple, you go up in there and just scream at the audience, "You're all fucked." Well, you're not funny. I don't like you. And so you try and. There's an element of that you're going to war and but you try and use jokes to make people laugh. And so when you make them laugh, it's like, the red mist from a sniper type of rifle where it's like, I killed. It's like, what do you mean you killed? Well, I made a lot of people laugh and they enjoyed the show and it was a good level of comedy.
Right. And I think the war analogy is good because it's really the only medium where the audience can give it back to you in a way, and it's kind of like a dance or a battle between them, so it does kind of feel like you're entering a war. It's like you're gonna kill or I bombed in front of them.
I just want to address the chat. Sean, Hitler was not a great stand-up. He was funny to laugh at, but he was a good orator, but I don't think Hitler's going, two Jews walk into a bar, have you heard this one? No.
Wasn't he a good painter though?
No, that's why he went into politics. Yeah, and also I've heard this from another comedian. If you want to create a super race, be part of it. Yeah, blonde hair, blue eyes. Hitler was brown hair and brown eyes.
It's a good point. He wanted what he wasn't, I guess. Everyone does.
Another thing I noticed when I was hanging around, I'm not a comic, Steve, I'm a writer, but in 2003, after a divorce, I ended up sharing a house with two headliners in Canada who are they've been over in England since about 2005 now. They do really well over there. They've had BBC specials. The British stand-up comedy scene is outstanding. It's like New York was in the 80s when Seinfeld was coming up. And I spent a lot of time in green rooms. And the one thing I noticed was like the intros for comics, like, the guy that hosts like the night, so you got an open, a middle, and a headliner. The open will be 10, the middle might be 15 or 20. And in Canada, the headliner is 45. But I was always struck by the intros, how hyperbolic and magnanimous they are. Do they do that in LA?
Yeah, they do. For someone like me, it's basically they just say like, where are you from? I don't have like the huge credits yet. Sometimes I'll try to like use my intro, like get a joke in there in the intro. So I'm gay. So one of the ones it's like he's gay, but he's not out yet. Like just like no, it's just like what the fuck. So, but some people view that kind of hacky. Eventually, I'd like to be like credited. I think that's what you're referring to. It's like you've seen him on this and that and this, and like it gets the crowd all like hyped up. But until you get to that point, he's like, he's from Massachusetts. He's been all over. He's a great comic.
He's a man that uses public transport.
Here's the weirdest comedy tagline ever for introducing a comic. This is Wikipedia. William Henry Cosby Jr. is an American former stand-up comedian, actor, and author who held an active career for over 6 decades before being convicted of a number of sex offenses in 2018. Welcome, Bill, everybody.
He's got to stay 100 feet away from the kids in the crowd. Give it up.
Poor bastard, man.
And if there's any felons in the audience, you are all violating parole.
Yeah.
You'll hear his ankle monitor before you hear him. Give it up.
Exactly.
This don't try his pudding. Yes. What do you need to do? Yeah. Hey.
So Steve, so being in Los Angeles, do you have a bit on traffic? Because every comedian's got a traffic bit.
Not really. Probably the most like cliche LA stuff I have is like some of the homeless type of jokes where it's like, why are the homeless here better looking than me? They got tans, like nice hair. Then I have a bit where it's like they're actually kind of hot. Like I'm a little bit homeless sexual. I'm not gonna lie.
Homeless sexual.
Everyone's got baggage. Theirs just happens to be in a shopping cart next to them.
Yeah.
That's probably the most hack material I have about LA. But yeah, everyone talks about traffic, dating apps. It's like you hear a lot of the same stuff.
I can just if I talk about LA traffic, if I get to LA and I do traffic stuff, all I'm just going to say is traffic. Moving on.
Monty, if you've never seen 16 lanes of freeway, okay, you have.
Yes, I have. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Like we have a freeway here, which is called the Monash Car Park.
Is it 16 lanes?
No. No. Why would we have 16 lanes?
LA has 16 on one side, 8 on the other, or some spot 16 on one and 16 on the other.
Yeah, but the population of Australia could move into LA. So
I know.
But they're not. It's not 16 lanes, but it used to be 4, like 2 each side. But now I think it's 4 each side. Yeah, it's yeah, and they're traveling about 10 miles an hour. Sometimes
they're going at 65, like that.
Yeah. Have you thought of public transport?
I don't know why they don't get on board with building something here. I just think it's such like a scene-stir, flashy city that everyone needs their Teslas and all those things. No one wants public transportation here, so it just never happens.
No, it's all corruption. It'd have been there. It'd have been there a long time ago if it wasn't for corruption.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Long time ago.
Yeah, that the B plot to that is the main plot to it is basically, and this is what happened: the oil companies bought up the tramways and the bus lines, and they closed everything down so they can bring in the freeway, so everyone could get a car and buy their oil.
Yeah. Hey, does the comedy room keep a puke bucket in the green room?
No, there's usually a bathroom adjacent to it. I've never thrown up before, but I always have to like take a dump like right before. It's like the nerves come. It's like, well, I just did this before I left, and now I'm spending like the 5 minutes before I go up like on the toilet.
Yeah.
Life is better after a big poo. Yeah.
I saw that. I saw that a lot in the green rooms, the openers puking into the trash bin or into the toilet. It was just quite common. You just get this visceral sense, of how visceral comedy is. And what's that old saying? The 2 greatest fears are death and public speaking. Yeah.
Seinfeld's got a great joke of that. Death and speaking in public. So people will rather be in the coffin than doing the eulogy.
Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes before shows, if I haven't been up there in a while, you'll just get these like waves of anxiety where you're just like pacing. I'm not one of those comics that's like, can be that schmoozy when it's like when I'm getting close to going up. There's other comics who are like, how's it going? Like they're drinking beers. Like I'm in my zone, kind of like
Yeah.
to the side. And then
I know.
once you like get up there, you kind of just like black out. You're like, all right, let's do this. Let's
Yeah,
go.
I try and remember my material because I'm watching the other comics and the brains go the creative side's going, and then I get up on stage and I just remember hearing everyone else's jokes and I can't use them because I'll be accused of stealing them. I should remember my material and it's like, oh, my brain goes, oh, you want that? Oh, sorry. Yeah, maybe next week. Fuck.
Yeah, you almost
That's
don't
like
want to hear it because you're afraid that like it's going to sink into your consciousness in a week. You're like writing like, wait, am I
But,
stealing?
yeah.
I don't even realize it.
And then you have the flip side is if you see something that's funny, you can turn it into a callback joke, where like in hindsight, where because I did a gig where this guy just killed the whole room, metaphorically, of course. He just talked about socks. It's like, really? How did you get material if you saw what he was doing? Just socks. I should have, my first opening act, my first line should have been, yeah, hello. I had like all this stuff on socks, but I can't really do it. You know, it's sort of a saving line to break it. But I thought about it 3 months afterwards. That's a fun part of the human, you know, I should have said this to this person. Like, yeah.
They should make an app called Soccer where they match up like single socks. That's what I think. Because you always just have one just hanging out in your dresser. You know, where's the other one?
That's because the sock mafia is taking everyone's left socks.
They're sock blocking. That's what they
Yeah,
do.
they're sock blocking.
Well, the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Castro, he had cocks on his socks. So, yeah, he's a sock cocker.
Gentlemen,
So-
I will be back. I've got to go to talk to Harvard about a haunted house. I will.
Okay.
That's not a joke.
Have fun talking to the Harvard ghost hunters.
Okay, man. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Yes, they give funding to everything. What would happen if we give a panda some cocaine? I don't know, but here's $3 million.
What happened to all the cocaine? The panda's not an addict anymore.
It's like the whole thing about transgenderism. Sex is and gender is assigned at birth and blah, blah. Well, I don't see many pandas trying to get transitional operations going. I don't see transgenderism in nature that much. I see homosexuality occasionally and polyamorous and all this other stuff, but it's like, you know, I feel like I'm a cow in a bull's body.
Yeah, you see homosexuality all throughout the animal kingdom and sometimes at Epcot, but you never really see.
Do you know who the greatest not offender is the wrong word, the greatest animal creature that is of highly homosexual? The dolphin.
All right, yeah.
Dolphins. Really? Dolphins are the worst for anything with a hole.
Yeah,
Hole's a hole
intelligent
for-
species. Apparently,
Exactly.
yeah.
Doesn't matter.
That should be SeaWorld's new slogan. Welcome to
Uh-huh.
Hole's a Hole. I actually, especially doing comedy in LA, like even approaching like the transgender topic, it's such like straddling that line for cancellation. I actually have a bit that I'm working on because I went to go get my hair cut last week and they set me up with a transgendered woman, and I was wondering if she was going to mention it to me. And what she actually said was, a few years ago, I made the difficult decision to finally transition into a pescatarian. I was like, you eat a lot of fish and so
It's like, oh, you're transphobic. Have you seen Blair White? She's hot. Like
the trans girls here can get some good looking guys. So if anything, they're just competition for me.
Well, I find, on Twitter, not Twitter. That's a hellscape. What's the other hellscape? Tinder. It's like, oh yeah, the hottest women on Tinder are transgender. And I'm like, what type of quality is in Melbourne, for fuck's sake?
It's like, where'd you guys meet? Oh, the urinal. And even on these apps now, it's like Grindr is supposed to be men looking for men, and now it's mostly just transgendered girls and like quote unquote straight guys looking for transgendered. I got a message today from a transgender girl. I said, could you please transition out of my inbox? Thanks.
You said it in a woke way.
And I don't want to get canceled. I just can't
Yes,
afford
transcend out of my inbox. Transition and transcend.
I just came out to my family as transcendental a few days ago.
Nice.
Aha,
nice.
transcendental. Mhm.
Yeah. If you don't like my inbox, check out my outbox.
Exactly.
And like, why would you date a trans person? Well, at some point, I'd like to get married and continue my bloodline. I know I'm a stickler. I'm a bit old school. It's the whole thing like men get periods too. No, if you have a uterus, you get a period. Men, if you're bleeding from there, please see a doctor.
So Steve, can you do any accents? Because he's got his deep voice guy that has Scottish, Irish, and Russian.
Duh.
Yeah, and I do just an Indian accent.
I maybe like a little Australian. Like one time this guy said to me, you know, I have a really good gaydar. Like I don't know if that's sounds Aussie to you. I'm not an accent.
That's gay Aussie.
But
Can you do New Yorker?
how you fucking doing? I don't know, something like that. I can do like a little bit of Boston.
Okay.
My mom's like, how's your
What
cat?
you need to, when you do a New York accent, start with the sentence, I love my coffee in a purple mug, all right?
Get some coffee, go down to the garden.
Yeah,
There you go.
I know.
There you go.
I guess I can do like a Guido, like
Yeah.
the boys are coming, we all have the same fucking haircut.
Do I amuse you? Yeah, I used to like for a while there. I would start in a Scottish accent and end up in India. It's really weird. You start speaking like this, and then you end up talking like this. Like, what happened to this fucking sentence? This does not make any sense at all.
You think about what are the mechanics of doing, getting yourself into another voice. It's counterintuitive.
Well, I remember there was a show here in Australia called Enough Rope with Andrew Denton, who's a comedian, presenter. He's really good at what he did. And he basically went into a talk show. That's why it's called Enough Rope. Give them enough rope and they'll hang themselves. Yeah. And you have major guests, but then he would talk to certain members of the audience occasionally. And there was a gentleman, and be interesting to see what your take is on this, Andrew. A gentleman that either was hit in the head by a 2x4 and he had basically brain damage, and he couldn't really speak. Like he would sort of drawl and do like all that type of level, unless he spoke in a Texan accent, and he just freaked everyone out. Because he used a different part of his brain and he could speak clearly if he did a Texan accent instead, if he actually engaged the accent.
He was able to transcend the damage and still be able to do it. Yeah, amazing stuff. Yeah.
Mm. And just seeing everyone just go, oh, and giggle. It's like, but not laughing at him, but it's the whole, it's that, it made the point you just made. And it kind of freaked everyone out in a good way.
Yeah. He was able to flip it and able to do it. Prove that you didn't need that part of your brain to generate that energy.
Yeah.
Willpower.
So, yeah. I remember when I wasn't on the school camp, but at the school I was, they went down to Tasmania. That's the small island in Australia. Yeah. And half of them spoke American. In American accents. Oh, look at this. Let's get this. And so everyone thought they were American tourists just by the accents. Teenagers.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, I really enjoy hearing people do American accents. It really cracks me up. Like, hi, my name is Courtney. Like, I know a girl that used to do that. It really just shines a light on how dumb some Americans are.
Well, that's the thing about, like, it's not the accents, but the stereotype, like from the South, and you're all hillbillies. It's like, well, he's a professor in physics. He just has an accent like this. And so what happens is when you split the atom, a vast part of energy is expelled, and that can destroy everything.
So that was George Bush with a bit of an Irish guy in him.
Yeah. Ooh, speaking of gay,
George Bush. For most of that bit, it was clearly George Bush.
Well, I wasn't thinking of
but that's when it came out.
George.
Like,
yeah. Well, and where are they from? Texas.
Texas.
Mhm.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Texas.
And I can speak junkie as well. Like, hey, like, you got $5, mate? God. No, I'm all right. I'm all right. Calm down, man. Like, oh, yeah, you got $5.
You speak
Or,
Junkanese.
yeah, and what a bit of material was just like, I think he wants me to steal third. I have no idea what he's saying. What? Nothing.
I think you get a lot of like the vocal fry and that kind of stuff out here. You even hear it with guys like, yeah, what's the deal for tonight? Like the Valley Girl thing has moved over to men too out in Southern California.
Yeah. I remember I watched a lot of Robin Williams in the 80s, and it's sort of like part of my makeup of my comedy temple god thing. And just like he's Californian, that there's the surfer accent. And it's scary where the accent is actually left the United States. A lot of people want to be gangster as well. It's like,
Yeah.
Dave, you're white, pasty. And like, no, motherfucker.
You're from Malibu.
Yeah. Well, is it Paul? Is not Paul Mooney, who worked with Richard Pryor and Chappelle as well. Well, he worked himself as well, but he pointed out it's amazing how the African American male is suppressed so much, but the rest of society wants to be that man. You know, with the gangster and the gangster rap culture, and it's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Because it all broke down to bitches, blunts, 40s, and hoes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
that's what they were rapping about.
Yeah, and here in Australia, we have Australian hip hop. It's very interesting hip hop in an Australian accent. But one of the groups is like, well, why do you talk about real things? Because I look at these hip hop stars from the States and it's like, I don't give a shit how big your car is.
Exactly.
I have a gun. Good for you. And that's a lot of them. It's like, they're billionaires. It was like, who's buying this stuff? I mean, Jay-Z, he's good at what he does, but it's like $1 million, they become a millionaire from one album. It's like, what the fuck, man? Mind you, I'm from the middle world, so I'm amazed that anyone can.
So Steve, what does a gay band in Hollywood rap about?
S&D. I don't know. I actually
casting couches.
Yeah, probably glory holes. I don't know. There's not really gay rappers. I feel like that really. I know a few actually that they've tried their hand at it, but I just don't think the rap world wants that, and I feel like it's probably
it's totally homophobic.
Yeah, and
it's
also
totally
like,
homophobic. Yeah,
they talk about how many girls they're banging. They're not going to be like, I sucked a dick last night because my father doesn't love me. Like, it's not gonna.
Well, Steve, have you heard of an Australian comedian who works in England called Steve Hughes?
Sounds familiar.
Checking him out because he's brilliant. He's very sort of truth comedy. He would fit perfectly in here, which reminds me, I should try and get Andrew to reach out to him because he's very funny. But he had this bit about he had a friend. He lived in Manchester and he had an earring in what is it, the left ear? You know that old urban myth of if you've got a male earring in the left, it means you're gay. And Steve had an earring and he was told, "Oh, you're gay." It's like, "Oh, really?" Because back in Australia, you're gay if you've got a cock in your ass. And it's like, and then he goes on, it's like, oh, I hate the gays. They're such pussies. What are you talking about? They fuck men.
Exactly. It's like you're straight, right? You're attracted to nice hair, makeup, dresses,
soft and supple and all that stuff. Yeah.
There's a new burgeoning of, I guess you could call it experimental straight men that I feel like I always encounter, and they always come up with these like rationalizations for what they're doing. It's like, I hardly ever do this. I do this like maybe like once a month. It's like that's 12 times a year. That's a subscription. You're subscribed to God. I got a message. I got a message a few days ago. It's like, hey, bro, like, are you up to anything? I really want to fag out. I was like,
okay. I actually saw someone. I think it was on Twitter somewhere. Instagram, Twitter. I got my Instagram account back. I just logged in through my phone. Take that, bot. Anyway, there's a thing now where a guy's like, no, straight men can have sex. It's not they're attracted to the man; they're attracted to the sex act, and it's like you've been inhaling chrome again, because it's like, no, if two men have sex for a while or together, that's that you're gay. And there's nothing wrong with that. But saying that, no, I'm straight, but me and my buddies are straight, but we suck each other off every Friday. You're at least bi. Like, it's that whole the idea of like, no, even there was an article, I can't remember where, straight men can hug and kiss and hang out. It's like, that's kind of gay. And I mean that in a sexual preference, not like in the, that's bad gay. I love this meme. I love this meme. If a woman sleeps with 16 men, she's called a slut. But what happens when a man does it? He's gay, Barry. Stephanie, he's gay.
I think it's just a lot of these type of guys are dying to be submissive in some way, so they act out these impulses with men, because just having to be the man of the house, it's too draining on their energy, and they want to just quote unquote fag out every once in a while.
I think there's an element of these men that have allowed society to suppress them in a certain way. They haven't dealt with their own sexuality, and it's like, you can't be gay. I mean, I know someone who, there was a lovely, attractive woman, slightly mental, but I came out as bisexual. And from my world, it's like, but I know of someone who actually came out to their friends and said, everyone, I'm straight. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's a template. If you are something else, there's nothing wrong with that. But we start as a template and then you evolve.
Yeah. I think what I always run into is I'm assumed straight until proven otherwise. So if I don't disclose who I am, it's almost like I go back into the closet by omission. It's like, yeah, bro, you having any girls over tonight? I'm like, yeah, to gossip, not to have sex with them.
We're doing our nails and hair. Yeah, and you can't really walk around with the t-shirt saying loves cock. Well, you can, but that's the other. Then you have the aspect,
and you can't always wear a rainbow handkerchief.
Exactly.
And then it doesn't fit all the time.
And then you have the other end of the spectrum where, I understand, here in Australia, in Melbourne, we have Pride Parade once a year in St Kilda, where there was a large gay community. And I was getting to the point of because in my reality, everyone's equal. But apparently the system's still repressive and stuff. But then you see some gay pride stuff where there's kids there, instead of actually dare I say, the wholesome aspect of sexuality of like, I'm gay, I'm attracted to the same sex. Oh, that's beautiful. But you don't want a fat 50-year-old man just wearing one of those coin purses for or walking around naked. You know what I mean? Yeah, the whole ugly aspect of it is like, fucking dude, turn it down. And it's not homophobic. There's children here. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing about we need drag queens to story time for 5-year-olds and puberty blockers. Like, why is anything sexual got to do with children? I know I'm a traditionalist.
I know.
With that, they've added the T, LGBT. So it's all basically homosexual. You're gay, homosexual, lesbian, homosexual, bi, half homosexual, transgender, spiritual homosexual, pedophile. You know what I mean? It's like with one step, it's like that's cool, but the next step is they're going to try and do the whole love is love, and kids want it. It's like, what 8-year-old wants to get fucked in the ass?
None.
Exactly. They'd rather play GI Joes. There's nothing sexual at all.
Yeah, it's not doing the community any favors, and this is probably a hot take, but I'm not crazy about the rainbow flag in general, because I feel like there's a lot of people that want to be open about who they are, but they don't identify with wanting to drape themselves in a rainbow flag per se.
Yeah, I just thank you for that. I just realized, I'm talking about the political aspect of it, not just the natural sexuality of human beings. It's become political and it's blown out of proportion. Like there's Pride Month and so like at some point, if you want acceptance, you have to be treated equally. Now I understand back in the 50s, you know, where it all comes from in the 80s, because the acceptance, like I'm sure from your experience, there are people that's like, oh my god, you're gay, and they think that you're about to stab them. It's like fucking, or you know, there are people in the homosexual community who just want to live their lives and they found a partner. They've done the traditional route, but the makeup is they're attracted to the same sex. You know, normal people. Then you have the batshit crazy, let's do pills all the time and fucking blah blah blah, and a straight man, we're victims here. It's like, that's because you have a victim mentality.
Right. There definitely is a political agenda to it, and I think it's mostly of what's portrayed in the media, and you kind of just have this myopic portrayal of hypersexualized and almost like too pushy to the point where it makes other people uncomfortable. And the other facet is kind of like HIV/AIDS has been just pushed onto the gay community, and most gay guys don't take control over their health. They want to just go, oh, I'll just like take these pills so I can have unprotected sex. And we're going to park an HIV testing truck outside of the club, the gay club, because that's what everyone wants to do after a fun night, is find out if you have AIDS like right after. So I feel it's you get this hyper liberal type of stance within the gay community.
And this is the level of stupidity of what you're saying. It's now, how do they word it? You don't have to tell someone if you're HIV positive.
Yeah, I would appreciate if someone did.
Yeah, you may want to mention that, like, yeah, I have an immune system deficiency, and it could kill you. But anyway, it's like, you may want to HIV neutral.
But even on even on gay dating apps, there's a spot that says like HIV status, where like you don't see that on a regular heterosexual app. It's like, let's wait to the second date to talk white blood cell count, you know? Like, why do we? But I do want to know before it becomes physical, because I feel like that's my right to know where I'm putting my penis.
Strangely, yeah. It's the same thing like ladyboys and transgender. It's like, you kind of want, you know, when you're going downstairs, you want to see something that you don't want to see. You know what I mean? It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, you almost see this. Like, I've seen this from dabbling on TikTok, where it's skewed to like 12 to 16-year-olds, where they're so like over woke. People are saying, I'm sorry, if you're not willing to date a transgender person, like, you're transphobic. No, they're all equal. I'd love to be friends with them, but I retain sovereignty over like where I put my penis and who I get in relationships with. It doesn't mean I'm a bigot. It means I'm free to choose. I'll be friends with anyone, but you can't force me to like date people.
The same argument is put forward by fat people. Well, not fat people, but certainly it's fat phobic if you don't date a fat person. It's like, well, if I'm not attracted to you, like, there are beautiful, there's a classical beautiful woman, but they're a narcissist and insane. Strangely enough, I don't get that connection. There's no, you know, if you're not attracted, I think with sex, it helps if you're attracted to the person. Kind of, once again, traditionalist. Yeah, it's like, you're hot, let's have sex. It's like, yeah, I'm hot. Yes, I know I'm hot. Thank you. No, I won't have sex with you. Oh, what? Because you're a bigot. And it's like, really?
The only thing I'm guilty of is discriminating based on like looks when it comes to sex. And I think a lot of people do that. And it doesn't mean I'm a bigot if I don't want to date a guy with a vagina. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you like outies, not innies.
Exactly. It's the pond I want to be in, I guess.
Well, yeah. And also, it's the whole political side. They want to make everyone gay. It's like, you know, we need straight people to keep keep humanity alive. That's how nature. Like, we're not going to cloning.
Unless you're Hillary Clinton. Unless you're Hillary Clinton.
Is she trying to clone?
Well, she's the one that passed the cloning laws.
And that's why she's still alive today. Well, finish that question. Why is she? It's like, well, how's that sentence going to end? Like, the multiple choice. Why is Hillary?
Exactly. Why is she even existent at this point?
Puppet Patsy misdirection, because the Clintons aren't the top of the pyramid; they're the ones that we see. So they get all the energy attacks, but yeah, there's people behind them doing all this stuff, and okay, Bill, go over and have all that type of shit.
Well, it's actually the 70-year-old lesbian vote. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I remember
Or the
Yoko,
former hippies that are now yuppies that are in their 70s.
Yeah, Yoko Ono has said
that's why she's there.
Yeah, Yoko Ono actually
just like
said
Rachel
that,
Maddow.
It's a comedy show. Don't make me vomit.
No. Don't say she's ugly. She's not. She's not ugly.
I can
Not
throw
at
on
all.
some
Physically.
thick frame. I can throw on some thick frame glasses and actually look pretty similar to her.
You would exactly.
In the right light, I could stand in for her.
Even with the beard, yeah. I forgot my point now. Oh, that's right. Yes, Yoko Ono apparently came out and said she had sex with Hillary Clinton. It's like, well, free love, blah blah blah. But have you heard Yoko sing? Can you imagine her climaxing?
Why doesn't Hillary just come out if their whole stance is equality and this and that? It's kind of counterintuitive. She's not willing to be herself
because of the other voting bloc.
Exactly.
That's why.
It's like I love gays. I'm not gay, but I might be, but I'm not. But I am.
The Christians that believe she's a good Christian.
I like upsetting leftards by pointing out, have you heard about this family? It's a gay man. He's married to a transgender woman, and they adopted 2 kids. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, they're called the Obamas. Oh, how dare you?
Michael Obama.
Yeah, I really don't. I find it weird because it's an element of lying, but in the end of the day, really, who cares? As long as they love each other, it shouldn't be a problem. But people turn it into a problem. Oh, shit, Michelle used to be Michael. Well, at the end of the day, and
yeah, it just doesn't matter.
Barry bombed the shit out of drone strikes 26,000 times. Maybe that's more important than the sexuality of his partner.
It's like, let's not hate Hillary because she's muff diving behind the scenes. Let's hate her because she's a horrible person.
Yeah. A song title like Pink Floyd have a song called "Careful with That Axe, Eugene." My title would be "Careful with That Ashtray, Hillary," because if you remember the Vince Foster thing, he committed suicide. No, Hillary killed him with an ashtray.
Like the recent McAfee thing is this tied to the Clintons, or is it just like someone else took him out?
I will reiterate to what I said yesterday. McAfee has not had his last word, even from death.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Dead
easy
man
to
switch?
go. Clearly, it's just easy to go. It's the Clintons because he had. If it was someone else, it's still the conspiracy and the corruption all behind it. And I'm sure John has McAfee's revenge. We're waiting for that.
Listen, the guy started antivirus software. I'm sure he created his own viruses that sniff for sensitive information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't get into Bill Gates. It's like, we need to be vaccinated. It's like, dude, you can't even figure out viruses on your own fucking operating system. Why should I believe?
Exactly. Why should I believe you when you're your PhD doctorate in viral medicine?
Bill and I are the same. I don't have a medical degree. The difference is I'm allowed into India.
I saw Bill at Baskin Robbins a few months ago. I had Oreo. He had microchip. And so
nice. Yeah.
Such lame jokes.
Yeah, but sometimes it works in the act where you can go lame and then you can have a killer joke right after it because. Yeah, it's fun working with Andrew. It's like he's a joke, makes people laugh, but Andrew still goes what. I'm like, shut up.
I know.
It made people laugh. I don't give a fuck. People laughed.
Andrew was telling Epstein he needs more protein. He's like, no, I need more preteen.
Exactly.
So Jeffrey, what are you doing tonight? Oh, I'll stay in my cell, hang around a bit.
I got the vaccine just so I could get on his plane. I mean, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, it's strange. Pizzagate. Oh, they think there's a small cabal that are all pedophiles and they run the world. Anyway, Jeffrey Epstein, who was caught for procuring, it's like, you know who Jeffrey Epstein's friends with, right? I mean, why is this such a hard step of logic where it's like, you don't have to think about it. How many people went down on the Lolita Express? British royalty, the Clinton or Bill.
How's the pizza though? That's what I was wondering when I heard that.
Yeah.
The half deep dish. Yeah, they never make the connections that are so obvious because the news just won't go there and people just kind of go off of that narrative. But it's becoming so obvious that they're going to have to eventually.
Well, with that close, there's a crack in the dam. It's getting to the point where any bit of any information that can actually get through, the whole dam's gone. And the way that Andrew explains it, we're one cat video from freedom because I don't know what that cat video is, but it'll be enough to break the spell. It may not, you see the cat video and realize, oh, a multidimensional being, but it could be the crack in the dam and the whole dam comes down. And because, like, as Andrew points out, in the conspiracy world, we've been treading water for 10 years. Everything Andrew actually asked, let's make up our own conspiracy theory. And I'm still trying to figure out to create a new one because I'm doing is.
Let's revive it with Steve here. Let's make a brand new, give him the rules that we have. It has to be a new conspiracy.
Yeah, new conspiracy and try and get it out there. But my mind is all I'm doing is just rearranging other conspiracies. I can't think of anything new. Free pizza. Yeah, it's pizza code. That's the question.
Hot dogs, pizza.
Yeah. I mean, one of the new conspiracies, which is sort of they've rebranded a conspiracy, is blue chickens will save us. Now, I couldn't think of that. The Prime Creator writes good jokes, but it's the avians and they're blue and the blue chickens will save us. I'm like, this is new, but it's just still the savior conspiracy over and over again. No, blue, as in the colors, Sean. I'm not going to blow chickens, you pervert. And that's a rooster.
That's what you keep.
Which is also called a cock.
So how about we go cheesy and lame and just call the new conspiracies the saviors? They're here to save you from whatever you believe in.
Yeah. With Megatron and
no matter how
Optimus Prime.
No matter how much little personal work you do, they will still save you. Just $9.99
monthly. I know. I was talking about this last night with my roommate. He's like, why don't they just come down and save us? It's like, we need to stop looking at it as we need a savior. We're invalidating our own power by saying, we need to be saved. But that's all people want to do. Give the power away. Someone else run my life, please.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Save yourself, save the world. It's all about sovereignty and self-nurturing. What's the 3 word sayings that you have, Andrew? I keep forgetting. Self-mastery, self-nurturing, self-healing.
Self-healing, self-nurturing, self-mastery.
Yes. So it's you, which is a theme of Andrew's shows. I always make that joke when people are doing calls with Andrew. You get to a point, it's like, it's me, isn't it? It's like, yeah.
It always is, but I guess that's a tough pill for people to swallow because they want to blame it all the time. Trump this, Trump that. It's like, dude, your life sucks because of you, not because of the man that's in that house.
Right.
Yeah. Just the Democrats' version. Anything that goes wrong. Oh, that was Russia. I burnt my toast. Russia. Flat tire. Russia.
It was Russian toast.
Yeah. I was called a Russian bot because I was making fun of The Last Jedi. Oh, all the hate for The Last Jedi is just Russian bots. It was like, really? That's a bit far. Yes, Russia's spending millions of rubles on trying to take down Lucasfilm and Disney. And, not getting nuclear codes and fucking with elections. It's Star Wars. That's how. How did Mother Russia take over the world? We made fun of Chewbacca. He is representation of capitalism. Yes.
So let's work on a new conspiracy. Everyone in the audience, put your brain power in. Let's all become a temporary collective to create the new conspiracy that will take over the conspiracy world.
Yeah, my brain's still rearranging others' conspiracies. So
it's the silence.
See, it's so because anything you think of, like, oh, no, I've heard of that. Alien invasion. Wow, blue chickens. Wow, reverse vampires.
Been done.
Yeah, it's in the Simpson episode. That's where I got it from.
Project Blue Balls.
Project Blue Balls. Made you think there was going to be an awakening. Project Blue Ball.
That should just be
almost there. Almost there.
Like, nope, no awakening for you. Project Blue Ball.
And sleep.
I almost get like anxious when I see reports on like UFOs and disclosure and everything. It triggers me way more than I thought it would, because it's like the blatant misdirection and false information, and then everyone wants to talk about it. It's like, don't talk to me. Like, I'm so triggered. I feel like my autism's like emerging with this topic, because it's just I don't know. I don't want them getting the reports from like CNN and then trying to conversate with me about it. I don't know.
Over the last 18 months, I'm tired of like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, or another. I'm not. Yeah. I don't want to go conspiracy theorists, and then they tell a truth, which is what the conspiracy world's been saying for a while. And even when a conspiracy comes true, there's just this. The general public have this way of dismissing it. It's like I keep seeing stuff where I can't think of an example. When something happens and it validates a conspiracy, the theory actually gets out into the mainstream of, no, this is a conspiracy, not a theory. And I don't get any recognition because I've been talking about it for eight fucking years. It's like, oh, come on. Maybe that's my own personal thing, but it's just really weird that the way, because conspiracy theory, the term was invented mid 60s after the JFK, and it was from the CIA trying to diminish the power, invalidate. The question is like, like even the latest wave is the Q movement. If you bring up conspiracy theories, you sound like one of these Q-tards. But if you bring up actual information proving something, like if WikiLeaks releases stuff that, Hillary Clinton ate a baby, here's the footage of it. That's their denial kicks in. It's like, well, that's not real. That's a deep fake. And they try and justify that it's false. And us humans are special, aren't we?
But even the stuff that is like confirmed, the experimentation, the brainwashing, and even like UFO disclosure, where for decades it's like, no, there is no UFOs. It's like now they're proving the conspiracy community correct, and still people are like, oh, that there's not even a reaction really. There's not like, oh, this group was right, and there's not even a reaction that this is important information. It's like, oh, that's cool. What's Biden going to do about this? It's like
nothing.
No one actually doesn't even sink in. It's when 10 years ago, this would have been headline news.
No, it wouldn't. No, it would have been never been news 10 years ago.
No, I mean, in your consciousness, it's like it would have been a big deal to learn of this information.
Maybe 15 years ago, not 10 years ago. 10 years was 2011.
I feel like the internet's so saturated with information that people just don't give a shit about anything anymore.
Sure, the last 5 years, that's why the internet goes oversaturated.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I've got a radio show on a conspiracy radio station, and it's some shows. All right, so what are we going to talk about? Do you want to wheel out 9/11 again? And that's the other thing, because you talk about it so much, certain subjects. The conspiracy investigators, we get bored. So like,
and then make shit up.
Yeah, well, I have a comedy show, so yes, but I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, they game it out.
Yeah, they play the what if game. It's like, at least on my show, okay, let's play the what if game and then game it out, pointing out to the audience that this is all conjecture and rumor and bullshit. We just go to the whiteboard and playing with numbers. It's not like this is truth.
Right, this conspiracy masturbation.
Yeah,
We have the 20-year anniversary of 9/11 coming up. I wonder if there will be any new insights.
No.
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 I want Howie Mandel up there, the deal or no deal, and just say open the case, and we can reopen that case.
I
No
love
deal.
it's not really a troll, but remember a couple of years, I don't know if they do it all the time, but they had I think it was before that one, the Freedom Tower, fucking nice naming, gents, but you had those two massive spotlights to represent the towers that they shine up as a memorial for the towers being gone. It just white light straight up into the sky. Some people did that for Building 7, so there was 3 lights going up.
Yeah, and then all the other buildings that went down that had to come down afterwards too.
Yeah. So it was a nice it was respecting, it was just pointing out where, and it's fun, like, those 2 towers, those 2 buildings, you mean 3. It's like, what? Even if you show the footage of, if you've seen it, the footage of the BBC, 20 minutes before Building 7 collapses, they point out that Building 7 has collapsed. The thing is, you can see the building over her left shoulder. It's still standing, like something. And a guy in England, this is what I find interesting. A guy refused to pay his TV license. And that's why there's hardly much, any advertising, because everyone has to pay a license. It's like £150 or something ridiculous a year. And he went to court because he proved that, and he won. He proved that the BBC were connected to some terrorist thing or whatever by proving that they were lying about Building 7. And it made news, but it dropped off real quick because you don't want that idea out. There's like, wait, hang on, something's wrong with the 9/11 story.
Exactly. Something. Oh no! Warning! Hide everything.
Yeah. One cat video away, my friends. One cat video away.
And what will that cat be doing? Who the fuck knows?
No, exactly.
Who the fuck knows?
And the fun part of that is, we're not waiting, sitting here trolling the internet. It's like, it's in the background. Yeah, we're waiting, but we're also getting on with our lives. And as Tina just said, reading Andrew's book. Yeah, there's a couple of books you can read. You can create your own reality and live the fullest of your life and tap into your birthright and legacy and all that type of stuff, instead of just waiting, going, no, there's going to be a cat video. There's going to be a cat video. And that's what I find interesting about the internet. It's all fucking cats and pornography. It's all about pussy.
It's true. You see a lot of that on the conspiracy forums online, where these people are so into the information, but it's like, well, how is your life from like a health and productivity standpoint? And these people, they seem almost like suicidal, and it just doesn't, it invalidates the people that are actually living their life. And
yeah, I try and I call them doom junkies. It turns into a battle on my show where it's like, there are good things happening. There's why are you fighting for freedom? It's like, yeah, but what's that freedom? It's like, well, when Eddie Van Halen died, I pointed out, I'm just acknowledging Eddie for his contribution to music, and he's influenced so many bands that are popular, and changed guitar. It was like a form of Beethoven when he came out. And this one guy, why are we talking about this? Well, because he finally turned around after explaining it to him. Yeah, okay, yeah. At one point was, this is why we're fighting. So you can go to a Van Halen concert and get drunk and pick up someone and just party and have fun. Why else are we fighting for? It's like there's a reason that we're doing this stuff. Yeah. I mean, freedom isn't free. It's a buck 35, as Team America points out. But there's a reason we're doing it, like to stay alive and enjoy life and the meaning of life type thing.
yeah, you have a lot of these incels and people that have other issues, and they kind of just displace that anxiety and fear moving forward to like, well, it's all pointless anyways. It's all rigged. It's all fucked up. It's like, well,
Yeah.
maybe you should work on this, this, and this, and
Yeah, I just-
then learn about that.
I think you do.
What my show is about. Work on this, this, and this.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
gee. Where have I heard that before?
I have 9 years of talking into a microphone, Andrew. But thank you, Steve. You just made my comedic brain kick in. It's like, everything's a lie. Yeah, including that statement. Because there is truth, for fuck's sake. Yeah, the world's flat. We live in a hologram. What? Oh, what? My head hurts. What? I like fucking up flat earthers. We live in a hologram, so it's all about placebo universe and its belief. So if the Earth is that awesome, mine is spherical and a bit lumpy, and if you think it's a flat plane, well, guess what? Because you co-create your existence. You have a flat plane. I'm on a round one, and we working together. I lost him when I said it's a hologram. Can you see what? This is why I don't have this conversation with many people.
Yeah, that I feel like the word hologram, it's ripe for people to be like, that's not true. But if you can finesse it, it's a holographic projection. It's like, oh, that's interesting. It's a hologram. No.
Yeah, I think when we say hologram, they think simulation. Now, if I may, Andrew, you kind of point that out in the book.
Yep.
So read the book still. There's so much more. But the thing is, it's not an AI simulation or hologram. It's actually dare I say, the mind of the prime creator or God or flying spaghetti monster. We're the imaginations of ourselves. Watch Bill Hicks, for fuck's sake, people. We're the imaginations of ourselves. There's no such thing as death, and life is but a dream. Here's Tom with the weather.
Yeah.
Somebody peed in your popcorn. News at 11.
Yes, film it at 11. I love that one. That's a great film. The Kentucky Fried Movie.
Kentucky Fried Movie, yes.
Yeah.
I'm so cool that you recognize that movie. I've talked to some millennials in the last couple of weeks who have never seen that movie. And I went back and watched, I don't know, maybe a month ago. It's corny as fuck. But when I first watched it, it was just hilariously funny.
Have you seen Amazon Women from Mars?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, it's a similar thing. And the creators of the Kentucky Fried Movie went on to do Naked Gun, a Police Squad, which is great. I don't know if that's on DVD. I actually had to download it. And half the jokes of Police Squad are in Naked Gun, because it's Naked Gun from the files of Police Squad. And they also did Hot Shots 1 and 2. And it's just
Shots Part 2 was so awesome.
Yeah. Oh, just Martin Sheen's cameo.
Yeah.
Where he's playing the character from Apocalypse Now, and they're doing the narration on the boats, and it's Martin and Charlie, and they both stand up and point at each other and said, "I love doing Wall Street," as they pass each other.
Yes. Do the whole fifth wall, everything. Yeah. It's like a perfect bit. Yeah.
A friend and I made a Naked Gun type of web series. It's called Burt Paxton. It's about a bumbling private detective in LA. We really love that slapstick punny type of humor. I feel like it's kind of dying out. You don't see it as much.
It's stupid. It's intelligent, but it's stupid. Like the Zucker brothers, I think they're called, and there was another. I can't remember the other gentleman. They actually they were playing. They made up basketball at their house, and then they finally turned out into a film and got the creators of South Park to actually star in it. That's a great film as well. It's just that stupid humor. They started in Chicago, I believe, and they were doing a weekly live show, and they just called it The Nose. Now, why would you call a show The Nose? Because in the paper it said The Nose runs continuously. See, it's stupid. And we in Australia, we know it as Flying High, mainly because apparently the studio thinks we're stupid. But the aeroplane movies 1 and 2.
Okay, that's so classic. But once again, there are a lot of millennials or even Gen Xers who didn't watch that movie.
Yeah, surely you can't be serious.
Hmm?
No, you miss. That's a setup.
That's a setup. I know. And then,
so what's the next line?
I don't remember.
I am, and don't call me Shirley.
Exactly, I am, and don't call me Shirley. That meme keeps popping. So there's so many memes from that. Yeah.
Or having the lady translate jive.
Oh yeah.
Does anybody here speak jive?
I do, and it's the mum from
8 is enough. 8 is enough.
No, Beaver.
Yeah.
Leave It to Beaver. That's the mum from Leave It to Beaver. That's why it makes it funnier.
I feel like those are the best type of jokes, the witty puns. I remember there's one in Family Guy where it's like they're asking Meg, like, what's your stance on abortion? And she's like, usually like this, and she's like crouching down, like how she would do it.
Yeah, see, it's silly, but it's high intelligence. That's one thing that I watched the last 15 minutes of Conan O'Brien, where he's basically doing all the thank yous. And he was smart enough that it was all on the teleprompter, so he didn't have to have a brain fart, and they just went through everything. But he pointed out, like, you know, this show is basically pointless, and it got laugh. But yeah, there's an intersection between stupid and intelligence, and that's what they always, with their comedy, they tried to do it where you know, I've noticed as well, where you hit a level of intelligence, you go back to stupid, but it's intelligent stupid. And that's where you can get laughs, and that's why other people know he's just fucked in the head. It's like, yeah, but if you think about it, it's a type of joke where if you say something where, oh, that's you laugh because it's stupid, and then you think about it, and then you laugh because it's intelligent.
Right. You have to be smart to write something that stupid.
Yeah, and the audience has to be smart enough to get that. So,
exactly.
yeah, I could go through a list of comedians that I don't find funny, but they're popular. But
you also need to be born in ironic land to be that level of like blind intelligence and stupidity at the same time.
Yeah. Well, why can't you be serious? We live in a fucking clown world. I actually came up with I came up with a saying in the last week. I'm a clown in a clown world. Like David Icke's got, why would you want to be sane in an insane world? It's like, well, I'm a clown in a clown world. That's how I live.
What kind of clown are you?
A handsome one.
You're a handsome clown.
Yeah, I'm a handsome clown. Hello.
Are you a happy handsome clown, or are you a sad handsome clown?
I fluctuate. I'm human.
You're bi-clownal.
Yeah, I'm bi-clownal. Yeah, peaks and valleys, Andrew. Peaks and valleys. Ebb and flow.
I've had people
look at my range.
Sorry, people I've dated before have said, you joke too much, like everything's a joke to you. But like, why do I want to be serious? You know?
Oh, did you get this one? This has happened to me way too many times. In the first 30 seconds, like if they haven't seen you performing, in the first 30 seconds, like, oh yeah, what do you? I'm a comedian, and for the next hour after every joke, you're funny. It's like, yes, I fucking know. I told you I was a comedian. Like, this is not going to work out if you just say every time you're funny. Like, for fuck's sake. You want someone that you can actually riff off and bounce off. And a lot of comedians, their partners are usually funnier. It comes down to it's getting up and performing in public. That's the only difference. But Mike Myers' wife apparently is funnier than Mike, and just think of that level.
Yeah, I just think it's too boring to have just boilerplate conversations. And what I look for in a partner is someone that can riff with me, and we can just create that funny dialogue, because it doesn't get any better than that in my eyes.
Yeah, as a comedian, you want someone to make you laugh. Of
course. And
yeah,
you meet a lot of people. You meet people where it's like, oh, they're nice to look at, but they don't really get my jokes. I feel like it's always like a litmus test. I always like put in like subtle jokes, and they're not getting it. I'm like, check.
And also, being you learn the science of comedy, and you know how you're behind the curtain. You see how everything works, and you don't laugh that much. Like especially in a comedy festival, comedians are laughed out in about a week, and you can sit there. The whole room is crying and falling to the ground from laughter. And I'm sure we're up the back going, "That's brilliant." But we're not laughing because it's more intellectual, and it's like, oh, I see what he did there and the timing, blah, blah, blah. And so that's why I like doing the show with Andrew. And it's not really scripted. It's improv, as you can see. And when we laugh, it's a general laugh because it's actually funny and it hits. Like John Cleese has actually said, the problem with working in comedy, after a while, you've heard everything. So it's not that often that you actually laugh. So when a comedian laughs... Yeah, but no, you just been a prick.
I know I was. Well.
I feel like when I'm watching a good comedian, like I might not be laughing outwardly, but in my head it registers like this guy's good. Like it's like a respect that is in my mind.
Yeah. I worked with a guy that, you know, he didn't laugh. He just kept saying, "That's hilarious." Like, fucking emote, damn you. Emote.
I know. You have people like that. Oh my God, that's so funny. It's like, well, then fucking laugh then. Like,
Yeah, if it's so oh, don't you have a soul? Are you a clone? This is funny. I am laughing on the inside. Yeah. So, you know, 1980. I actually came up with a character of a comedy coach, but he's Russian, and I can't remember how to do the voice or any material. I just like, what are you doing? You need to more slapstick. Yeah, that's kind of German though. Anyway,
So let's take a little different turn with our comedy show. In the past, Monty, you and I have done a Arcturian comedian. So I'm going to open up the whole spiritual group here of collectives that are there. We're going to summon in some comedians, and let's ask otherworldly comedy concepts.
Okay, I'm going to quickly go to the bathroom to check if my bath's still there. Yeah, I had too many cups of tea before the show, and so the digestive system is like, "Hey, you know we work and we're full." So I'll be back in a second.
Okay, take your time. So, Steve, how long you been listening to me for? Like a year, you said yesterday?
Yeah, a little bit over a year. And similar with like comedy, I feel like I'm pretty good at discerning someone who knows what they're talking about. And when I stumbled on you, I was like, wow, like this was like, it was like a gold mine. I didn't stop listening after I found it, because I just feel like I'm hungry for information. And through like the Galactic History series, you presented so much information. I just listened to it over and over again, like took notes. And then also I take notes on it because I want to be well spoken on the truth of things, so I can integrate into comedy and just have a well spoken opinion. So I feel like I'm a real scholar of what you teach.
Cool. So, you know, what are some of the things that you find funny about the way I work with clients, out of curiosity?
I like that you're blunt with things, and there's not really any BS, even though you probably have a lot of clients that are in that victim state, but you cut through the BS. And I can see why. I know you mentioned before that gets draining to deal with like the same types of things from the victim mentality that you get from callers or clients. And I think your approach could come off abrasive to some, but I know you're doing it in a blunt way, because you're like, wake the fuck up. Like, you don't have to be in shame, blame, and guilt, like you say.
Yeah, the thing is, that's their first state that they're stuck at. And for them to get out of that state that they're stuck on, they have to see it.
Right. And you have a lot of people, light workers, that kind of pacify that. And it's like, no, you just need more Reiki. It's like, no, like pull it together.
Yeah,
and
pull it together.
And I like how you say that people get lost in the light, because there's a lot of mainstream type of spiritual speakers that they have people just bask in it, and they kind of remove the part that we need to take action. We're in a physical world. If we want to transform our world, we need to take action. It's not about just going to a monastery and just being zenned out all the time, because that's just as unproductive. But you see a lot of that, where it's like, no, just raise your frequency and don't worry about it.
They forget they're in a duality, and correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, to transcend duality, so you need to work with both. You can't just lean into the light, because you're ignoring the shadow. But once you've got that balance and you become whole, it's like the end of Dark Crystal, if you remember, like the Skeksis and the other guys coming together.
So, Steve, did you ever hear my thing about giving the lady the spiritual brick and the Gucci purse?
I don't think so.
I think that was about a year and a half ago.
You have such a backlog of material that's like overwhelming, but I'm like slowly chipping away.
So Andrew's just teaching everyone to be a librarian as well. Like, if you go to your reference number,
even like my family's like annoyed. They're like, everything you say is Galactic Historian, this, that, because they ask me, you know how people like, they all of a sudden are interested in this information, like when COVID hit, or when it's it's more like salacious. They want those answers. And then you give them like the bigger picture answers and like they don't want to hear that. It's like, well, what's the deal with the pandemic? Or like, is Trump going to win? Like, what does he say? Like, they don't want the big picture.
Right. Thank you,
But
Robert.
they're
That's
also
awesome.
they want the answers immediately. It's kind of like they want like the TMZ version of like
Yeah.
they want like the tea.
So
Well, what I'm
I ran into a lady that was having some serious entity issues, an ongoing process. Obviously, it was one of those situations where I just had her do the repeat after me process, where I made her very empowered with light, and I said, I want you to see a very expensive Gucci purse, and I want you to put a golden brick inside it, and I want you to see that entity that's attacking you in your dreams all the time, and hit it in the head with the purse. Okay. And then I had her go through every demon that was in her environment and hit everything in the head with the Gucci purse with the golden brick in it until it completely cleared out her field.
And I don't think they'll visit her. Is like, don't go near that crazy bitch. Her handbag's
Exactly.
insane.
She's go caveman.
It's like my interaction with I can't remember the species, but they were using a perception filter, and so they came across as the Greys. And I broke out of their it was on the table and broke out of the bonds that they put on you and grabbed one by the neck, and that's when my consciousness snapped back. But you told me that I killed one of them, and I think since that, I don't know where it was in time, but I think it may have gone over my whole lifetime, my timeline of life. How did you explain it? It's like there's a tag, yeah, don't touch.
You got a warning label. You got a warning label.
Yeah, if you want to mess with the bull, watch for the. And I find that amusing. It's like, yeah, and the way I work is like I asked the question, "Is there aliens?" And I worked it ever since. It's like, oh yes, there are. It's all drifted away. I don't have any sort of alien contact or stuff that I'm aware of. It's like, yeah, I know you exist, but I'm the type of person. If aliens are disclosed and they turn up, it's like, awesome, we're not alone. Now fuck off for 12 months while we figure this out.
I know. I feel like the more information you learn, the more like it sinks in, and it's not as like crazy in your mind as the first times you hear it, and you get brought back to like the now. And it's like, well, I'm here now. Like, how can I make my life more enriching now instead of just the mental masturbation of these concepts that were like mind fucks for me? They come in waves. Like, oh wow, like you eventually it kind of just like sinks in. It's not as crazy, I guess.
And as well as I think Andrew points out, it's about this lifetime in the now because of what's happening on the planet. We don't, I mean, if there's issues from the past life, they get cleared, but I don't ask Andrew too many questions now, like about personal stuff. The way I rationalize it is like, that's a gift and I'll find out about it later and just put it on the shelf. And so, yeah, I'll find that out later. I don't need to know about it now. It's, I have to put petrol in my car. It's like, was I on the Titanic? I don't know. Like, who gives a crap?
Yeah. How do you apply it to the now in a meaningful way? Just want to be well informed because we're in such like an information war type of time, and people look to the comedians to give answers and lead them in a good direction. And I feel like if I'm not educated about the truth of things, then I'm going to be up there like not knowing what I'm saying. And a lot of people want to keep it just in like the political realm. Or are you this or you that? Did you vote for this or that? I never want to have those conversations. I'd rather be like, let's look at the big fucking picture or not talk about it.
Yeah, that's what I find amusing about, there's a great awakening on the planet. Yeah, it's only to the corruption and the political stuff. Have you met the Galactic Historian? Because this is 0.1% of you have so much more to learn.
Exactly.
Like, what? Now, did you contact the Celestial, the Galactic comics?
The Galactic Green Room is open.
Excellent.
Okay, they're just looking for a warm-up act here. The introductions.
Well, you're the MC.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children from all ages, in every dimension, time stream, galaxy, and universe, on the marquee sign today are our dual MCs, Steve D'Amico and Montesaurus Dean Rex. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome from Los Angeles and Melbourne.
Melbourne,
Monty and Steve. They're
Andrew,
going to warm up the audience and get ready for the headliner, the Arcturian from Arcturus.
Is there an Arcturian in here right now?
Yes.
I
Yeah,
know
maybe-
I know a guy who lives around here that does that, but he's not funny. So missing that key element.
I like the humor of Bashar, not the leader of Syria. If we could get in contact with Daryl Anker and see if Bashar wants to do 5 minutes. Just I've noticed with those higher frequency, if they're positive, the higher vibrational stuff.
So
Even-
the Arcturian comedian is saying Bashar is a material thief.
he just proved the Arcturian's a comedian. Oh, he steals
Yeah.
material.
He steals material.
I listened to Bashar a lot before I knew about Andrew, and I've met with him before and had a session, but he'll only go so far. He keeps it vague to a certain
Yeah.
point. And it's like, okay, I need more than this, Daryl, you motherfucker.
I still like, oh, it's fake. Well, Daryl is a phenomenal actor and also a genius because he's been doing it nearly for 4 decades. And if it's completely fake, he's helped so many people and the concepts and he can act and blah, blah, blah. It's like, if it is fake, Daryl Anker is better than Meryl Streep.
Exactly. It's like this. Give this guy an Academy Award. I'll tell you what he's not good at is cinematography. I was watching First Contact last night. It's like, didn't this dude specialize in cinematography? What are these shots?
They're awful.
They are. It's like, is
Too
he
many
doing
drone
this to like
shots.
troll us?
So yeah, it's but yeah, I've noticed even like Abraham Hicks and Cryon, when they go into the comedy aspect of stuff, it's brilliant. Then they're not Robin Williams, they can't go on tour the States type thing, but when it comes out, that higher frequency, the higher consciousness comedy is just gold. I remember one time Bashar was doing an event and you have people ask questions and how are you? Yeah, hello, my name's Mary, I can't remember her name, but I work at SETI. And he goes, what's SETI? Search for extraterrestrial life or whatever it is. And he's like, well, you found me.
Here I am.
Yeah, it's just just when he's interacting with them, it's comedy, but he's not putting on an act, if I can say it that way.
Yeah, I feel like he really is the real deal because when you hear Daryl speak, it just
He's a living experience. Yeah, he's yeah.
he really is. I like his take on people like I've been suicidal. I was like, how exciting.
How did that work out for you?
How did that work
any
out?
direction you choose.
Yeah, and I think the element of being vague, it's Bashar's not the savior. He gives concepts, and you create your permission slips, and then you hand in the permission slip as you evolve. So he's a spiritual life coach in that aspect, but he's not Jesus.
Yeah, and I've read a good amount of his stuff, and it doesn't contradict anything you say, Andrew. He just doesn't go into it as in depth. It's like, what happened in Atlantis? Well, there was certain transformations on your planet. It's like, come on, dude. I need more than that.
Yeah.
But his purpose is an introductory being.
Yes.
Yeah. He's like pie. He's like a gateway drug.
Yeah, I could see Bashar being an opener and Andrew being the headliner.
Bashar is like marijuana, Andrew's like MDMA, and Abraham Hicks is like decaf.
Yeah, but it's you tell people information and it's like that really works. Where do you get from a channeler? Oh, they're fake. And they dismiss all the information. It's like, you don't have to believe they're channeling. What's wrong with the ideas?
Right. So many people are like, this is fake, this is fake. It's like, well, even if it is, you can still listen to what he's saying and implement it if it works for you.
Yeah, and it works for a lot. Even I sort of, the question if it's fake or real, I just put that to the side and like, oh, I'll try that. And I saw a benefit of implementing the idea. So for me, it's like, well, I got what I wanted out of it, type of thing.
Yeah, one of the best things that I said over and over again. It's the a la carte system, whatever works for you in the moment.
Yeah, because
the
we're all
greatest
unique.
gift we have as humans right now is the a la carte system.
So from going to does now I know is it just a human thing that we have to have labels and names like
No, that's general for life force, but every world goes through the labeling and naming process differently.
yeah, because maybe it's just in the language. The Arcturian comedian, what would they like to be referred to as? Bill, Dave,
Um,
Cynthia.
Hold on, I'm trying to translate it. The name is actually a joke.
Oh yeah, well, I would
okay,
hope so.
The name is actually a joke. Let me translate here. Just it's like Cesaro.
Oh, that sounds like an awesome comic.
No, it translates into master of self-deprecation.
Ah,
okay. Okay.
So we also have our tone. Okay.
Yes. Okay. But he's a part of a collective of comedians because their form of comedy is what they do is they'll gather 10 or 12,000 independent comedians, and they'll all join together in a single light beam, and then broadcast out to 10,000, 100,000, 200,000 separate worlds. In each world, they may be on holographically live on tens of thousands of stages. So they're simultaneously live on a trillion stages.
Ooh, there's your flying time.
Yeah, they're a single collective of about, we'll say, 10,000 comedians, all amalgamated as one comedian on all stages simultaneously. And each individual comedian doing their individual bit that leads into the headliner. So they're all the experiences at once.
Oh, no.
And one of the things that they've been doing is looking at the comedy scene here because they can't cast into the comedy system here. They have to physically come here to experience it.
Oh, interesting. I remember Shah was asked, so what do you do for entertainment? Do you watch comedy and stuff like that? And his response, we watch you.
Yes, they watch us. There is Earth TV. Yes.
Yeah. Now, so from that premise, my question is, where else in the galaxy? We'll keep it local. Galaxy's local. Where else is funny? Like what? Where? Like, yeah.
How life comes into existence is funny.
Yeah.
Example in Arcturian news, there are casts off of an evil empire. They're like an amalgamation of different races that became an evil empire, like, I don't know, like 200,000 years ago. They weren't in Earth's drama, but they were in another place. And they made a special kind of, let's just call it, reclamation system that could reclaim all the waste that they were creating from machines to feces, whatever it was. And it generated its own elemental intelligence because they amassed all of their reclamation equipment on one particular place that happened to be a very powerful center on a planet. And it animated what they're simply calling feces elementals that became intelligent.
Not shit demon, shit angels.
Stirs, whatever you want to call it. So to them, life it's a brand new form of life.
Yeah. And also the laughter and the comedy, it's because it exists. It's not a negative response to it. It's a positive. Like, I've listened to stuff like there's a Canadian band, Strapping Young Lad. They released an album, and it was so brutal and just so awesome. Our reaction was laughing at it, but not laughing at it. It was laughing because of just how awesome it was.
Yeah. So these feces elementals that have become new life. Now, this on the galactic message boards, different forms of new life pop up all the time. But this was an ancient evil race who had essentially killed itself off. Just a handful of them left. And 100,000 years later, their reclamation equipment, I mean, reclamation doesn't matter. It makes pure stuff. But it was the energy that was attached to who they were that created the environment for this thing to be born in that soup. Okay. So they're very aggressive, very intelligent. They have a psychic ability to take over technology, even a technology they'd never they've never seen, heard, or touched. Anything
Yeah,
with
but
a circuit type concept, their mind can connect to it.
Yeah, but the real question is, do they smell?
No, they
No.
don't. They don't.
No. Like, can we smell them? I mean, not they smell.
But they have a smell. Yeah, they have a
Yeah,
smell.
all right.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I'm
So-
just going by earth sewage.
So
That smells.
their main form is a liquid form. So think of it like a soap bubble that's got air on the inside. That's their physical form, but they can make it a very tough soap. It's hard. It'd be really hard to pop. Like it would need like a 22 round to pop that bubble. Like it'd have to be something really strong to pop that soap bubble.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that inside is a very moist air, and that's their central nervous system. The moist, all of the water
Yeah.
molecules inside them.
See, yeah, you won't see them turning up on the White House lawn.
No.
We've discovered new aliens. They're shit. How dare you? No, they actually are shit.
Yes.
So they're like crystallized diarrhea in a sense. Like
No. I mean, again, reclamation makes everything pure. And the whole idea was their reclamation equipment that created the energy for this thing to be born 100,000 years later.
The chat room.
That's
thank
what
you,
made
Pat.
it galactic. That's what made it galactic famous. And this is why you asked the comedian what's funny in their world, the strangeness of how life comes into view.
Patty in the chat room just gave me a good idea. So yeah, they'll invade Earth, and what is the first thing that will happen when the shit will stop colonics? You're killing our people.
Exactly.
when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah. Oh, funny stuff.
So they're
So what
open.
other-
They're open to whatever to interact with them.
How long have they been watching this timeline for a while?
Again, this is a collective.
Yeah,
But the main answer is about 30 million years.
yeah, because like for the human mind, this experiment that we're on, it's what 50 million years old in a way, without going too far into timeline wars.
About that, yeah, about 55.
Yeah, so who's this galactic historian? Don't open with that. Well, we've been doing this for 50 million years. Like, well, I basically say when if talk about spirituality, okay, there's no such thing as death. Come back in 6 months once you've processed that, because you really need to process that. It's just not in the short-term memory and out. You have to know as a being there is no, the body can die, but you don't.
So they have
Like-
they have their own view of what death really is. They're like, oh, young Monty, you haven't even experienced your first real death yet.
No, I'm not afraid of death. It's the dying part that I'm not a fan of.
They're kind of making death virgin jokes for you.
Oh, you're harshing my mellow.
So does anybody in the chat room want to ask anything to the Arcturian comedians too? We get to do that. If anybody would like to raise their hand and be a caller, you can go ahead and raise your hand. Now, this is the usually part where I insult and insinuate, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pass it off to Monty to encourage the chicken shits to raise their hands.
Well, see, yeah. Now you may be being a chicken shit. You do have celestial beings that are part of your collective now. They're soap bubbles, but they're still shit. So yeah, raise your hand. You get to talk to Andrew, who is a medium / translator for the Arcturians. So if you want to connect with an alien life force, now's your chance. And no one's raised their hand. So, why are you people here? Like, I want to know about the secrets of the galaxy. Do you want to talk to Arcturian? Nah, fuck that.
So Andrew, you're saying when the Arcturians or people that experience the Arcturians' presence, that's when you have those orbs around you?
Not just orbs. That's the type of vehicle they usually have, but it's not limited to that.
Okay. So when you take a photo and you see those orbs,
There can be a lot of things. There could be all sorts of things. Natural elemental lights to also ships too.
Yeah. Also, don't write it in chat. That's still communicating. You can come on and we'll be gentle, and the Arcturians aren't known for being pricks. Like, yes, abductions. Why the cows? We'll come on and we're not writing.
First thing first. It's the Arcturians. That's not us.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
there are some crazy entities out in the world out there. You don't want to know what they do with the cows, do you?
Yeah, we love our bovine brothers and sisters.
Yeah. We love leather jackets.
See, they're not threatened by me, Andrew. You can actually say, call them chicken shits, and they'll raise their hands.
So somebody's got to have a suck it up buttercup moment.
Yeah, pull the stick out of your. There we go. We have a hand raised. We've gone, Bon Jovi. Raise your hands.
Raise your hand. There we go. Robert, open up the wheel of the single adventuresome caller.
For some reason, I felt like I should have a BB gun and just go, ding! Soars, you're unmuted.
Soars, hey there.
Good night.
Hi, where are you calling from?
Netherlands.
Netherlands.
Oh, nice.
Welcome to the show. Are we
Thank
making you laugh today?
Slightly.
Ooh, tough audience.
No. He's Dutch. That's what they do. Like Steve Hughes is actually. I've done a gig in Holland, and like they'll laugh if you're funny, but if you're not, they'll just stare at you till you cry.
I believe you.
Yeah, exactly. It's an observation from Steven, but I understand it's like, make me laugh. If you don't make me laugh, we'll tell you.
Straight up. That's the Dutch way.
Yes, yeah. So nothing wrong with that. That's why we're different. But you did say some sort of, and that's still a win. As a comedian, it's like, well, we got titters.
So, Soares, did you want to ask anything? I saw in the chat you typed in, "I'm scared," and then you raised your hand. You're like, "Fuck it, the hands up."
Yeah,
Put on the big boy pants.
I didn't really prepare anything. I just. Yes, I do. It says, "Do you speak Dutch?"
Thank you.
You're welcome. No, you guys were clearly definitely looking for a volunteer, and I was just honestly admitting that I was way too scared because I didn't have a joke prepared. And then you said, it's a suck it up buttercocks moment. And I was like, fuck it, here I am.
There you go. All right, guys.
I did have one consideration though, because recently I had a dream which was very crazy, but I was just hearing it in my mind, and I thought that's not funny at all. Do you want to hear it?
Sure, go ahead.
So I was in a dream, and you were there, and there was this sort of conversation going on where you basically insinuated that I was a guru cocksucker, and then you put me in front of your crotch. You were wearing jeans, don't worry, and sort of insinuating that I should open up your pants and start sucking your cock. And I was a bit baffled by that, and I was looking on the side, and bloop, 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 like 5, 6 to 10 of your followers were like smiling and going, yeah. And then I was sort of pushed back into your crotch, and then there was this little tip of a banana even sticking between your legs. And I was a little bit confused, and I was like, hey, wait a second, but I don't think I like this. So I sort of stood up, and then you vomited on top of my head, and I made a bow, and the vomit came onto you, and you started speaking gibberish and crawling on the floor like, yeah. And that was the dream.
Yeah, obviously that wasn't me, and that was something that was trying to harvest energy off of you. And the redirecting of the vomit back at it was you literally rejecting whatever poison it had put into you.
I was going to say, yeah, 4D Andrew is very interesting, but that doesn't sound like a 4D that because I've had moments with 4D Andrew. It's like, what the hell does this mean? And it wasn't that level, but yeah, if you don't feel comfortable,
I'm very vague and cryptic. If I'm not being vague and cryptic, it's probably not me.
Was it a wet dream though? Is the question.
No, it was an empowering one.
Well, yeah, you told the entity to fuck off, basically.
Yeah.
So that's good. So you don't have any questions for the Arcturians? You have an opportunity to talk to someone not on the planet. You can ask anything. It doesn't have to be comedy based. The answer will probably be funny, but the question doesn't have to be exactly humorous. Just ask anything, really.
All right. Do you have heads with feathers on them?
The Arcturians are like, no.
We are not
the
the blue
Arcturians
chickens.
do not have heads with feathers. There are other species that have feathered headdresses or actual feathers, yes. But they are not feathered kind. They are flesh and skin.
Do you poop?
Yes, they poop.
Don't they
But
come to Earth?
not in the same way we do.
Yeah.
Ironically, I got this is the second spirit poop question I've had today. Okay. So Arcturians, their whole perception on defecation in general is way different. So to them, it's a very powerful and I don't know how to describe it. Not enticing is the wrong word. Arousing experience to defecate in brand new spaces that have never seen consciousness. So like on an asteroid, like they may go to the asteroid and build a 200-story statue of something and then defecate right next to it. Okay. Or, it's and they don't have to do it often, like maybe once every 20 years. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a form of transportation.
And it's an energetic process too.
Yeah.
Where they're literally taking energy and manifesting it into a physical thing that we call the dump. But it doesn't look like anything. Are they shitting out a square brick? No. Okay, but the dropping pebbles, whatever you want to call it, they have their way of making that as manifestation.
Was it the Arcturians? They come to Earth to experience like cake and foods and digestive.
Many of the races come here for that. Many. Yeah. But the Arcturians, they're coming here for the music, the sound, how sound interacts with this holographic reality, which is radically different than many other holographic realities where sound isn't as important.
So, being a metalhead, I have to ask the question: have some Arcturians gone to a Slayer show and got into the pit?
Yes, many times.
Oh, yeah.
And there are many Arcturians that are K-pop fans.
Well, yeah, there's a reason it's popular. Let's be fair.
Okay. So, the German metal bands too.
Like Rammstein and stuff.
Yeah. There's a primal energy behind the spiritual contracts of the people singing the song, because they have a different view of music. They look at the spiritual significance and the resolution that it can create, or the resolutions and solutions it can offer just from as a frequency offering.
Yeah, because a lot of metal it's not like, oh, you're angry and you're satanic and all that horse shit. There's elements of that, but for a lot of people, it's a release and a calming mechanism of, I guess, on a basic level, listening to the music to calm the primal aspect.
It's like a purging for catharsis. It feels like.
Yeah. So they're funny that they're being asked about poop.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
Because many of them have a defecation story. Again, they look for unique places that that
Oh.
travelers of light might want to exist in the future.
So, a gentleman actually took a dump on Nancy Pelosi's driveway. Do they see him as a maverick or a god? Not
No.
god, but yeah,
No,
it's like,
no,
oh, I
no.
like that. Oh, okay, because I
No,
think that's funny.
Earthers dump their dumps everywhere. They don't
Yes.
take the same form of pleasure of
No,
thinking
no.
it out 20, 30, 50 years in advance to make
Why
the
won't the
biggest impact on it.
Why won't you land in San Francisco? Because people shit everywhere.
They took all the good spots.
Yeah, they took all the good spots.
They're gonna
Do
get
they
there's
have-
like there's 10 other people taking a dump next to a statue already. What the hell?
Yeah. Now, do they use toilet paper or is it clean? You know, when you sometimes have a clean poo and there's nothing there.
Again, that doesn't relate. They have their version of messy versus normal.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's like, it's light that has ectoplasmic formula to it. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yes, you haven't lived till you smelt an Arcturian fart.
He's the one's trying to make the point. He's got like ectoplasmic rainbow runs. Okay. Okay. When it's squirting out of you like a rainbow hose.
Like a fireworks display. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have their version of it, but it's energetic. But that energy turns into a manifestation that has a long-term imprint on that space.
So is it like the opposite of our defecation where it almost feels like it's the dying off of energy? It's like it's creating more energy when
it's creating more energy for them. Yeah.
Yeah, because why we do it is it's to remove waste. I don't think it's not really waste from that perspective, is it?
There's a future. Remember, it's they poop every 90 years. Think about it.
Well, yeah, it sounds like
there's a long term. They plan where they're going to do it. Yeah, sometimes they go to the middle of nowhere, knowing that life will eventually get there.
Yeah, it's that's what we're going to do, Andrew. When you get your spaceship, I'll hang out with you, and we'll just go on a tourist travel guide of Arcturian poos around the galaxy.
Well, it's not like they have like a big, WikiLeaks data dump of where everyone's poo is.
Yeah, not one planet, one galaxy. It's like, the Arcturian chapter. Like, if you go to this moon, you'll be able to see a poo here, and yeah.
So now they're a little huffy here because they're like, a lot of times like it gets down to the poo jokes, but there are many of these comedians that will go to the middle of nowhere and they'll make strange monuments out of stone to fuck with people's heads, or they'll do their version of Taggart art, which is making it look like there might have been something on a world.
So yeah, I could hang out with them. What are we doing today? This is constellation that no life's been. So like, all right, I'm going to erect a statue of Megatron. That will fuck with people's heads.
Yes. Okay. And life will come here.
I think you guys are being way too negative about Earth pooping. I've never not enjoyed a good shit.
I've had a few shits I haven't enjoyed. Oh boy. Especially after some night at Taco Bell, or I had way too much spicy food. Lord, never again.
When there's a war on the colon, you know about it.
Yeah. World War III in the colon, that tactical nukes are going off in the intestinal tract.
That bacteria is going off.
Or if you have a hemorrhoid, that's pretty unenjoyable.
Yep, that's right.
Get the roid rage on the toilet.
Yeah, difficult factor of 3.7.
Oh, it looks like we have another suck it up buttercup for another person. Just raise your hand. Thanks a lot for calling in, Soars.
Thanks. See ya.
All right, Robert. Let's spin up the wheel of confident callers who's raised their hand.
All right, I like this. Susan Funk.
Susan Funk, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Pottstown, Pennsylvania, right outside of Valley Forge.
Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Welcome to the show. Are we making you laugh today?
Yes. And what's up with men and talking about poop? Girls don't talk about poop like guys do, I swear.
We don't get periods.
Is that what it is?
No.
I don't know. Hey, I wanted to tell the drunk story. I've been listening to you guys for like a year, since last June, I guess.
Mhm.
And I wanted to tell my drunk story. I've been thinking about it for a while.
Tell us.
Okay, so every year I'm Italian. We have a huge family, and we have a big pool. And every year we have probably 50 people, sometimes 60 people around that come on the holidays, Memorial Day, 4th of July. Well, one year, and I wear a bikini. I always have. Fucking, I'm 57. You come here, it doesn't matter, right? So I have a friend who came with her husband I never met and her 15-year-old son. And I saw her coming around down by the pool, and I hopped out of the pool. I walked all the way around to greet them, and I shook her husband's hand. I didn't understand why the 15-year-old wouldn't look me in the eye. I walked all the way around the pool back to where I was, and there's a friend of mine. His name is Lucas, and he's such a Trumpster that he went down to the rally, and he's just a crazy guy. Got this shit-eating grin on his face, and I look down, and my boob is sticking out. And I looked at my husband, and he goes, "Well, there ain't nothing there." And Lucas goes, "Yeah, it is." To this day, my friend's husband calls me Tits.
Not even Tits McGee, just Tits.
Just Tits.
Is that Tits? I'm like, oh yeah, fuck. It is what it is, whatever happens.
Well, at least your tits plural instead of tit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah,
bit more affectionate when it's tits.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah,
if you go
yeah.
tit, that's more of an insult. Just like, oh, is
I
that
guess.
tit?
I don't know. You just, at this time, life goes on. It's like, fuck it. So that's so funny.
Well, yeah, if you want to impress friends, you're like, well, I did this. Well, I flashed a 15-year-old. No.
Oh my God. I still can see his face, like not looking at me like, what's wrong with this kid?
No, it's all right. In about 3 months, you'll call Andrew. It's like, I had this moment. I was at
With this
like near
older woman. Or whatever. I don't look old. I'm
I was
reverse
at a
aging.
swimming pool. Yeah, I was at a swimming pool, and this lady came over, and her boob was hanging out, and I didn't know if I was supposed to get an erection because my parents were there, and I need help.
Yeah, that is so funny. Oh my gosh. So another thing I wanted to say is Monty. I learned about Andrew through Laura Heisenhauser, Laura, and we were going through the whole, I was the worst Q-tard, and I swear, Monty, I was right there with you. And then Andrew would say stuff, and you'd look your head sideways, and I'd go, oh my God, I feel your pain. Because the shit that Andrew would say to pull us out of the friggin' washing machine with all that shit, oh, thank God. That was like a deep fucking hole.
Well, I wasn't really a Q head. I ignored most of it because it just didn't feel right. It's like, in basic warfare, which fuckhead, like, why would you tell the enemy what you're going to do? Like, even 4-year-olds know that's fucking stupid.
Well, you were a part-time Q hopist.
Oh yeah, I was in the potentiality of, hey, if it happens, cool. If not, but I still find a positive aspect out of it. Apart from the trolling of it,
the closer it got to the election, the more you tried to not be a Q supporter because you knew it was coming, but was still hoping it wasn't.
Yeah.
Options.
Options. And if you go back to the shows, and then you even say, "Got to have my options." Okay.
Yeah. and now we've got Uncle Feely Touchy fucking 6 months, everyone. It's only been 6 months. Look what 6 months we've had.
So Susan, what has been the hardest part of her being a recovering Q-tard?
Oh, I gotta tell you, I don't believe I'm going to tell you this, but I swore Trump was going to win. I bet my husband a blowjob, and I would swallow if Trump won. I had to give him a blowjob and had to swallow. He was so happy that I lost.
You sucked it up.
Yes, you sucked it up.
I did. I just had to. Thank God for you, Andrew, because you pulled me out. I was like in a washing machine and couldn't get the fuck out. It's like your head's coming up, and then I'd listen to you, and I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay, I pulled me back, and once in a while I have a little bit and I go, oh, what does Andrew say? Yeah, no, I'm listening to what Andrew has to say because he's been pretty right this whole time. It's been interesting. Oh, I got to tell you, then one time there's this girl called and she was like, she was a bad Q-tard and I'm telling you, she was me. And you said, you're a cunt, or you called her something. I'm going to spit out what I was drinking. And I thought, shit, that's the kind of talk I probably needed to.
Yep, I told her she was a cunt. Yes, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I was just like that. And I was past that part. And I was, you call it the hopium, so far up your, whatever. But, oh, thank God for you. I just read your book. Your book was just amazing.
Thank you.
I devoured it, and then I just kind of went back, and I can't wait to go back again. I guess the agencies really fascinated me. We fired. I basically fired all the agencies. Now I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Under the seventh dimension, I can do that, right?
Sure, but who's taking their place for all your other spiritual contracts?
Well, I don't know. I kind of hired I have a new guidance system that I called in.
Okay.
That's what I've been doing.
Just beware. There's a lot of nepotism in the goddess industry.
Is there?
Nepotism.
See? Okay. Well, I'm kind of doing.
They put their sons in places they shouldn't be.
Okay. Well, the good news is everything you've ever said, I'm like a jump in 2 feet kind of person. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. And I suck it up and feel like I'm a little bit aligned. But everything you've ever said has helped me down to, and it took a while because, each level levels you up to another level. And then you have another awareness. And then you go through another. I would say one thing sticks in my mind is the heart. You did the heart meditation. I don't know if it's Christmas or New Year's. I did like 5 days. And then I'd level up and then a new awareness. And then I went and floated. I went down to the float tanks and had those things. And then each thing did something else and something else. And it's just amazing. So I'm really grateful and thankful for all your stuff. And I'm a binge watcher and I did all that kind of stuff. And it was hard because I would say the first time I heard you, it was like a foreign language. I didn't know what the hell he was saying. And then I would go back and go, wow. And layer after layer after layer.
Have you looked at any of Andrew's material like on YouTube after reading the book?
No, because I just finished it.
Yeah.
I listened to I tell you what, I didn't realize that Bruce wrote it. He did an amazing job of making it understandable. When I was reading that, I'm like, oh my God, it's understandable. So I did go back and listen to what did you do last Thursday night? When did you do that? I don't even know what day it is. I guess it was Tuesday. Your book
release show, yeah.
Yeah, I listened to that, and it was really good to hear all these things. And Martina didn't give herself enough credit because she, did the tedious work, which is transcribing and everything. So, but I was,
I'll bring up the question because you'll notice after reading the book and you watch anything or listen to Andrew's work again, your awareness, it's like, I feel like Captain, as I said on the show, I feel like Captain America in the Winter Soldier. Like, I recognize that reference. The book actually just reinforces everything. And so it's sort of like when Andrew says something, it's like, okay, I understand what that means. But after reading the book, it's like you really understand. It's like a handbook for the rest of the material.
I can't wait to go back and
just
pick it
just
out
watch.
And do it. Yes.
Watch 30 minutes of a video, and Andrew drops something that's said in the book, and it's like a zip file. It unpacks everything. It makes it better. There's my review of the book. It makes it better.
I probably did hours and hours I bought his Galactic Historian, this stuff, and listened, to all his what was his name?
Lance?
What was his name?
Lance or Andre?
Andre. And then I went back with the Lance stuff. So yes, I did all those references absolutely were in that book. I was curious to see how much I knew when I read it of all the things that I was, had watched before. But of course, there's a lot of new stuff. But I loved it, layer after layer. I can't wait for the new books. I can't wait.
And when you read it a second time, you will discover even more layers. And every time you read it and reread it, you'll get more and more and more and more layers.
And I'm a type of person that always was trying to help people all of my life instead of myself. And you know what? I'm not helping nobody. They can help themselves. I got myself to where I am. Unless you come to me, it's not my job. So I'm just going to suck it up and get where I need to be. And it's really amazing.
It's the fun part of free will where, like, you know, especially from the conspiracy world, we have to wake people up. We have to save humanity. Yeah, but free will. But don't you care? Well, I care about enough that I'm honoring their free will. And a lot of the conspiracy heads don't understand what I'm talking about. Save yourself, save the world. So it's an interesting thing. Of if someone comes to you and asks for help, well, obviously you get, but you don't have to go out and try and that time of waking people up is kind of over. I know a lot. What's your view on that, Andrew? Because that's popped up over the last 3-4 months. In certain parts of, on my radar, spiritual people and whatever, they're saying the waking. It's there's been a shift where an agreement's been made, so we don't need people will still wake up by themselves, but they'll do it. They don't need someone to come in and say, look at this, look at this, look at this.
There is no overarching single agreement that forces everyone to accept one single agreement. So everyone's individual experience is their agreement to have their individual experience.
Right.
And it's all these overarching forced experiences that are being filtered out, which is causing a lot of the people to have aggressive meltdowns or major public issues where they deconstruct themselves, whatever you want to call it, or entity haunting, whatever. That detoxification of forced sharing, a forced sharing experience through tacit consent and time travel.
Yeah, because I think it's the pandemic, but there seems to be like this background tension. But it kind of makes more sense now because the bonds of one reality, one thing, everyone has to agree, blah blah blah. The spell's been broken or it's disintegrating away, and a lot of people.
There gets to be a point where the reality pants just don't fit.
Yeah. And certain people like to call it, I nearly called you tits, but I respect you. But it's like, I'm going to work, take responsibility for your own existence. Other people are sort of being nudged to that energetically and they don't know what's going on. And so they're freaking out and like, this is not the same. Like the whole thing about the pandemic, we have to go back to normal. Well, what do you mean? Because that normal still fucking sucked. Like, why do you want to go back to that?
But what about the holographic part? We have our own life. We create our own life. We have our own holographic, universe and our own little bubble of ourselves. Yeah. And then everything else is a projection of us. So once you clear all that, actually, my life's getting better and better because I've been doing a lot of clearing. I don't even think about anybody. Fortunately, what was hard for me was the vaccines. I've seen people get it. For some reason, I struggled really hard with that. I had to go deep with that one. And I finally let that go.
Yeah. It's because you care. And you just have to care more to realize to honor the free will. Like we are the center of our own universes. And right now, my center of the universe is talking to your center of the universe. That's the fun part of the creation. And Steve's center of his universe, Andrew, and also everyone in the chat room, everyone watching live, and everyone who's going to watch the video later on. You're all the center of your own universes. And this is the joy of creation. We're all intermingling and co-creating the experience at the same time. And human logic fucks off about there. Like, wait, what? Compared to the global narrative, no, everything's just science and one reality. It's like, well, Andrew, give me a number as an example of how many people will watch this in future, like, or
47,934,000.
Yeah, that's how many universes are co-creating this experience in the now, not in the time stream, in the now, because people were watching the replay. So that human logic's just failed because it's like over 49 million people are interacting with this one moment. And if you expand that out, like we're told there's 7 billion people. I think Andrew says there's 20, but you know what I mean. And even
56.
if 56 billion people. entities, like because animals and sentient stuff like that. Like when the Beatles created the White Album back in '66 or '67. Oh, now Andrew, you don't have to answer this one. Imagine the number that is connected to that album and the songs, because how many albums it sold physically, and how we haven't even touched the history of the White Album, because it's only 50 years. That could be around for another 4,000 years. And if you think about that, all the center of those universes connecting through that energetically to that song. I'll stop now. I'm hurting my head. But you get the point I'm trying to make.
No, I thought that was an outstanding statement rant.
Yes.
That's got to go into one of Monty's clips. Okay,
that won't fit on a T-shirt, but
Montisms.
Montism. Do you have autism? No, I have Montism.
I have Montism. All right, guys, we're at the end of the show. We went overtime, big time. Montism. You have a way for people to get a hold of you?
Yes, if you just search Wafer Thin Entertainment, because you're doing a shift. We need to up-to-date the slide. Robert knows that as well. On YouTube, it's Wafer Thin Entertainment. Oh, actually, I've got to quickly go through a list.
Monty, it's actually updated. I added and more.
And more. Yes, thank you. Yeah, and this is the more. Wafer Thin Entertainment can be found on YouTube, Facebook, Odyssey, Rumble, PocketNet, Anchor FM, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Twitch, BitChute, Twitter, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and Instagram.
Steve, do you want to give a way for people to get a hold of you?
Yeah, so my last name, D'Amico, D'Amico, Steve with a V. You can find me Instagram, Steve D'Amico1, Twitter, if you like one-liners, Steve D Comedy, and I'm on YouTube, and you can just Google me and see what you find.
All right, thanks a lot for coming on, guys. I will be back this coming Tuesday. And a reminder for all of you that have not bought a book yet, go to Amazon.com, type in Galactic Historian, and you will see the book, The Galactic Historian, The World According to Andrew Bartzis, out there now for you to consume and expand with. All right, Robert, take us away. Each different bubble of reality is true. A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma. Nudge, nudge. It's the Holy Grail. Improvise. Mysterious. It's counter psychic intelligence.
Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important?
Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.
Hello, let's create, let's co-create, and let's change this world with love. No matter if you're from Alpha Centauri or Earth, we all began with the same birthing process. We live in a limited point of view. Living the mystical life daily is about striving for the unlimited point of view. Each day, each human being gets an infinite amount of choices. Living the mystical life daily is about facing obstacles and challenges. The level of awareness that you are working at means you have a responsibility to be equal with it. How does one truly let go of expectation? You can make the moment that you wake up to the moment you go to sleep sacred. The keys to success: choice, 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 and choice.